Okay, we're live. What's up, Brian? Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay, we're live.
This is nice, finally. It's
Is
been a
it?
long weekend. A little bit cooped up in this house. No one to
So
talk fantasy hockey with. So,
really?
that's what I've been waiting
Did you
for.
try?
Yeah, I told my wife how this Leafs game this afternoon was really significant for my matchup.
And
And she didn't even, at any point in the afternoon, ask me how the Leafs game turned out. Or
which
how
is well, do you think she knew based on your state of mind?
my... I don't know.
Like
We're
did she
both just...
yeah, maybe she
I
already
think we
knew
were
the
just both
answer
too
and she's
distracted.
okay.
I don't think so.
Your daughter didn't even ask either. Terrible.
I know, and my whole family just don't. They
Why
don't even,
why
they don't
don't they
even care
care
about my
about
fantasy team? Is that a
your
good T-shirt,
fantasy
Brian?
team?
My family doesn't care enough about my fantasy team.
I mean, I thought it was just gonna be my family doesn't care about my fantasy team, but enough.
It should be enough.
that
think
really
that adds-
points the finger at them. I've told them I need them to care.
Yeah, it's like when my wife has something bothering her, and she tells me, I'm asking all the time, how's that thing going? How's this person at work? How'd that whole situation turn? I never get that question.
It's
so rude, but it's okay.
It's sad.
It's fine.
I'm sorry.
You know
Have
what?
you considered a second family?
Just for the fantasy support.
Yeah, build a whole second alternate life, as we know, movies and funny things, or not all funny, but the story exists where people do that. You do that, and your whole second life is just built with the one purpose of being having fantasy hockey
Right.
conversation and validation. Worth
Probably
it?
I would make that one of those no kid families first of all. I don't know if it's really worth it to start raising kids for that purpose. I mean, I could just marry you. Well, I guess I can't. You're already married, but I'm already married too.
we
So I guess
can't
this
do
would be
that.
just a fake family. I guess you are my second. You and the patrons are my second family
Yeah,
to talk about fantasy with.
right.
I gave you a little bit of a dump an hour ago while I was waiting for my noodles to be made.
Your noodles?
I
Your
was making
noodles?
some noodles.
Nice.
Well, for the kid, for my dog. I didn't eat.
Oh,
I didn't
so
actually eat yet.
Pasta noodles?
No. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's get on with the show.
How complicated could the answer be?
It was noodles from the restaurant. I went to the restaurant to get the noodles.
Oh, what kind of what
It was
cuisine?
yaki udon. Yeah, it was Japanese.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow,
Just
she's
across the
eating
street.
well.
You know,
Damn.
she barely ate any, but that's good because then we have it in the fridge. So
Got her the
I also
yaki
made a really
udon.
nice lunch that there's leftovers of. She's eats a bit of it, but there's a lot of good. Yeah, she is eating well. She doesn't even realize. And every single time you put something in front of her, the first thing she says is I don't like peppers. It's okay, just don't eat the peppers then. You don't say something else. Say this looks nice. This looks good. Right away, point out the one thing in this big dish. I don't like that specific little
Oh
thing.
yeah.
It's fine.
Well, yeah, because it's the immediate scan and problem detected.
Yeah, it was
That's it.
Today's lunch I made it was a food box. It was salmon with rice, and then there was broccoli, which she likes. But then there was also some cabbage with radishes, one of those a radish,
Yeah.
whatever.
Ruins everything.
She was I don't like. She didn't even know the name of what radish is. She was I don't like that. What's this called? I don't like that. I was
Well,
"Just
just wait until you get the same treatment to foods that she has that are established favorites of hers, and then
and
just
then
one
she's just like that.
one day I don't like that's gross.
It's
Oh, cheese?
what?
No, I hate cheese. Why did you give me cheese?
These people, they don't care about our
These
fantasy
people.
teams. They
Tyrants.
poo-poo. You feed them.
Poo poo in
crazy.
many ways.
Imagine
Yes.
if someone comes to my invites me over, then I'm being mad at them that the free food they're giving me isn't up to. Come on.
Someone ought to teach them some manners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, let's start our podcast. We got a hockey podcast, and like I said, I'm excited to talk about hockey. So here we are, and we're still talking about the family. So let's move past it, Brian.
Gosh.
How are you? How was your weekend,
Enough
though?
with the family.
Did you have a nice weekend?
Yeah.
As you
I
said,
had
it's really cold in Ottawa.
I had stress dreams
Oh
about
boy.
replaced my furnace a couple years back, and instead of a new gas furnace, we had a heat pump installed. Which I don't know, like people who talk about heat pumps and love to talk about heat pumps. So I'm not gonna go.
Makes you feel like you're helping the environment or whatever, even though it's like more
well, it
expensive.
doesn't just make me feel like it does, but like
I mean,
it
doesn't actually, because
drop in the ocean.
Of course, it's like not actually making any difference at all.
If everyone did it, it would make a difference.
I don't think so. Probably not
at scale. I don't know.
I think that like big corporations like Amazon need to change their practices. That's going to make a difference. I don't think people.
I agree.
But I don't want to get into the whole.
It's a bit more of a. It's a bit more. It's more than just making sure to close the lights when you leave the room. Anyway,
you can feel good about yourself.
And anyway, in the backup for the heat pump, like a lot of people have like a gas furnace, and like I was done. Like I regret I made a mistake when we got it, and I was like, you know what, put in an electric backup. Which is like, it just gobbles up so much energy. And I'm like, can our panel even handle it? Anyway, our home stayed warm all weekend.
Beautiful.
So even with the stress
stream
about it. The heat pump works, the backup works, and it wasn't even on that much, which is confusing because it should have had to run more. But so we'll see what my electric bill comes out to be.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, thanks. So that was, you asked me how we spent a lot of time indoors because it was minus 25 before the wind chill, minus 37 with, or even lower at times. Yeah, pretty cold times over here.
Well.
Yeah, it's okay. You can move on to the show now. You did your.
I was trying to think cold times, so like cold streaks.
Cold, yeah.
But I guess we're not actually.
How about you?
So.
Oh, I guess I heard a little bit about your yaki udon and.
We're good.
Your uncaring family.
No, I have a beautiful family. I'm so lucky. Okay.
But they don't care enough about your fantasy team.
Well, let's see. How are things looking right now before I start the show, just to see if there's any. Okay. I mean, I should be okay. But I mean, Sam Bennett's been hot lately. If he could burn me still, but we're looking all right. All right, let's start the show. Here we go. I got my opening joke. I thought of it just now. It's not even that funny or good. Okay. Yeah! Yes! Welcome, everybody! As I adjust my microphone to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast known as Keeping Karlsson, hosted by me. I don't even know what I'm doing now. I'll start that over. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Keeping Karlsson Fantasy Hockey Podcast, the longest-running fantasy hockey podcast in the world, hosted by a guy who's starting to think that maybe some of these goalies need to, I don't know, take their time before coming back. I'm looking right now. The Sens are destroying Adin Hill. I don't know if he was ready. I don't know if you saw Brian Anthony Stolarz a couple days ago. He didn't look ready, but hopefully we're ready to deliver a very exciting episode of fantasy hockey content, because I'm really excited to go through some of the hottest players in the NHL and their teammates and what's going on all around the league. So I'm your host, Dylan Dabrowski, and with me to break down this last week of fantasy action, give some advice as we inch towards a long break. So believe it or not, we just have like a week and a half, and then it's going to be the long Olympic break. So maybe not a break for people watching hockey, but a break for us fantasy players. But okay, Brian, it's Brian. How's it going?
Hey, wow, you finally did it. You threw to me. Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here with you, Elon, with you, dear listener. The bonk you heard was not Radek at the start, or Oliver for that matter. It was Elon did a full 360 spinorama in his chair. You might have caught that in spatial audio. And the back of his chair hit the microphone, which he's still adjusting. But we've made all the adjustments we need to. Elon, I hope goalies are prepared when they come back. I just added Dan Vladar because Philly plays Monday and Wednesday next week. And a couple goalie starts could be good for my Keeping Karlsson Ultimate Patron Fantasy League team, kkupfl.com. But if he's not ready, it won't be pretty. So I'm counting on readiness from Dan Vladar. That's but I just checked out like the Adin Hill, what you're talking about, 7-0 Ottawa leads. They're up 4-0 after 2, and then they scored 3 more goals in the first 4 minutes of the third, including 2 from Stephen Halliday, rookie. He just got his first a couple games ago. He's been good in the AHL.
replacement for David Perron, right? So he's probably going to hold
Yeah.
the spot in the lineup for a while.
He might. 23 years old. Well, we'll talk about Ottawa, but 23 years old. This is first NHL action that he's seeing this season. 4th round pick back in 2022. And look, I'm not saying run and go get him, but I wonder, like Elon, I don't know if he's available in our Dynasty League. If we need
I
to.
checked, he's not. No.
Oh,
Would be
okay,
nice.
he's
I would have
already-
jumped on him, yeah.
Yeah.
I did, though, add Jeffrey Veal today in our Dynasty League. Still minors eligible for, looks like just barely the rest of the season. So I'm happy with that.
We're trying the veal.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. I mean, since we're on the Sens, Brian, we could go to the Sens right now. I don't care. There's no rules. Jake Sanderson, 8 points in his last 6 games going into today. That was my note on the Sens. Pointless today, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how that happens? Your team scores 7 goals. You're like one of the hottest players on the team. Somehow goes quiet. I see Cousins has been hot, and he's got 2 goals today, so he's kept it going. Stützle only 1 assist. Imagine, that's the worst, right? When you like haven't been around and then you come back to see. It doesn't really happen to me that often because I can never get away. I'm too obsessed. But imagine coming back and seeing like you have like Stützle or you have Sanderson. Like, oh, nice, the Sens won 7-0. I must have gotten like a zillion fantasy points. And he's like, so deflating. But that's, you're happy if you're a Sens fan.
Yeah.
Who's the goalie today? Mads Sogard is going to potentially shut out the Golden Knights. Sorry for the jinx. Looks like 7 minutes left.
Could happen.
That's surprising.
Their shot count wasn't even impressive considering that like Ottawa. Well, I think it's funny because like usually when you're down or when you're up, I should say, if you're a team that's winning, you go into many coaches in the NHL will go into a shell, right? Like they'll protect, they'll defend, and they'll try and just stop shots and they won't keep shooting, but like shots will get through, but hopefully low quality, and that's that. I feel like Ottawa right now they're leading 7-0, as I mentioned. 8 minutes left in the third. They're out shooting Vegas 27-15, and I feel like Ottawa can never go into that shell. They can never have enough goals to support whoever their goalie is. Like they need to score 6 to win on any given night. So I wonder if that's a factor here too. It's like they're up 4-0, and they know that's like a 1-goal lead. It might even be a tie game. With the way Ottawa's goalies have been playing lately. I'll also mention Ridley Gregg. He's now pointed in 5 of his last 7. He picked up an assist tonight. The thing is that Ottawa only plays twice in the upcoming week. Once is on Wednesday, so like that might be more than a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday player is going to get you. But it's hard to, like I had Ridley Gregg. I liked what he was doing. Like that line that he's on with Cousins and Tkachuk is clicking, and I think it's sticking. So I will be interested in Ridley Gregg after this 2-game week for Ottawa, but not through the 2-game week for Ottawa.
Yeah, but still a good player to add to the watch list and be ready to nab when you can start fitting him in. I agree with you there. Like on the flip side, Shane Pinto, who's probably rostered in a ton more leagues than Ridley Gregg, going into a bad schedule week. I got Pinto marked here as a snoozer. For those of you who don't know, did we invent the term snoozer? I was telling Dina recently about
Yes, we
some
did.
Terms I think we invented. But yeah, so he's not a sleeper. He's not someone no one knows about that you're going to grab and get a lot of value out of. It's the opposite. He's someone that no one realizes you're snoozing on if you still have him on your roster. I guess Pinto does have an assist today, but again, it's only 1 assist on 7 goals here, but he's in the bottom 6. He's been cold lately. Like, I don't know why people are still hanging on to Shane Pinto. Swap him for Ridley Gregg, if anything.
Yeah,
It's easy.
absolutely. Like, well, yes. I was going to like pause and be like, well, that's going no, but yeah. I mean, I think most of the season Pinto has been can you hold him kind of guy. And sometimes he's been worth it, sometimes he hasn't. But definitely going into a 2-game week, forget it. Another Sen to have on your radar after the 2-game week, and that's a big Olympic break. But Linus Ullmark has been activated. He's back. I expect he'll see at least 1 start next week, just by the fact he's back on the roster. I don't think he's backing up tonight, though. If I recall.
Either way. No, I think it was Reimer and Sogard. But I guess from what we've seen of some of these goalies coming back from absences, don't get too excited. I don't know if you have Allmark. I don't know if you're like rushing to get him off of your IR personally.
We talk often about the skater vacation. The little holiday, the IR vacation. Does that work the same way for goalies? I feel like once upon a time it worked for Matt Murray. And I don't know if I'm wrong about it. Like I might be misremembering.
He would come back from injury. Yeah, no, that was for sure the pattern, right? Matt Murray would come back from his injury, be good for a couple games. We'd have to go on the podcast and be like, is it time to recommend people grab Matt Murray? And then he would like start to be terrible and then get injured. And the cycle would repeat over and over. Brad, we've done a lot of talking, by the way, about the Sens. So we've knocked off one team, one topic. We didn't mention that we're proudly presented by DobberHockey.com. great website. They've got that mid-season guide still out. Brian, we did that contest last week. We said if you give us a 5-star review, you get entered into a draw for the mid-season guide. Not that many people. Well, some people entered, but not enough that we had enough codes for everyone. We still even have a couple left. So at this point, everyone who's given us that review and let us know, we've given you your guide. And if you still want one, first come, first serve at this point. Just message me.
Yeah.
Leave us a 5-star review, message me, and I'll be like, thanks, here's your guide. Or I'll be like, oh, too late. Sorry, we used them all. But thanks to everyone who did give us a review. It does help the podcast, right? To give us that seems like so antiquated at this point. But I think it's still true that reviews are important. I don't know.
I think it's still true. We get like, I'll also, you know what? Let me just like randomly drop. I know you love when I do this. But like we get inquiries sometimes because like we are one of the only independently produced and like owned podcasts in the top whatever charts of any category, but like sports too. Like we're unaffiliated. We're like our own thing. And we get like a lot of email, like, hey, do you want to learn how to make more money from your... And we get them because like when we're going up the charts and we get more reviews, I feel like it works because this is where, other opportunistic people are looking for podcasts anyway. So
we ignore all those emails though, FYI.
Generally, yeah.
Don't even talk to me about your like, hey, do you know how you can make like $1 million off your podcast within 3 easy steps? Like, all right.
Well, some of it is, but it's actually like it's a little bit beyond. Like, I mean, they make vague promises, and I think like, yeah, sure, we'll get like maybe a few pennies for a download. Like, it's not full scam, but like, it's not gonna be life altering, like let alone life changing in any way. So what I was saying is like, I don't know. We've always looked for someone to like sell ads for us or whatever. You could get in touch and send a message if you want.
Oh, this is what that was about. I went from 5-star reviews to like, let us know if you want to sell ads for the podcast.
I was just, no, because it helps us on the charts. And you know what else would help us if we actually capitalize on the fact that we're, helped.
We have
on the
ads.
charts.
We have ads on the
Otherwise,
podcast. We just don't.
Yeah.
We don't get paid much for them, but we do. We have them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, so all that out of the way, dobberhockey.com, great website. Let's go. Here's the plan for the show. I went and looked up who are the hottest players in the NHL because I feel like sometimes we don't talk about these guys because they're so awesome and it's too obvious. So what's the point? But like, I think it's time to just give due to all the players who are just totally crushing it. And then we'll hit some other players on their team that maybe are fantasy relevant or some more interesting things to talk about. But I want to just go through some of like the hottest streaks happening right now in the league. So that's the plan for the episode. I think it'll be fun. And then at the end, I had to like put in like a Vancouver Canucks thing because like Philip Heedle's back. And it's like obviously there's no one hot on the Canucks, but we'll get to some of those cold streaks at the very end. But we're gonna do mostly hot streaks this week, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna start in Minnesota, where ever since Quinn Hughes has come, and to be fair, even before Quinn Hughes has come, but like Kirill Kaprizov is just going insane. I think he's very happy with this new person on his team that he gets to play with on the power play, and a lot of times at even strength. Kaprizov now up to 12 points in his last 5 games after a goal and assist yesterday against Florida, had 2 goals and assists versus Detroit the game before. It's been like, I think 5 straight now multi-point games for Kaprizov, having a great time. Quinn Hughes right there with him, by the way, 9 points in his last 5 games over that stretch. And hey, even Matt Zuccarello, 38 years old, going super strong. He also has 9 points in his last 5 games, just like Quinn Hughes. Playing with Kaprizov obviously helps. Matt Zuccarello now pacing for 75 points on the season. So a great guy that you probably got pretty late in your fantasy drafts. But yeah, I think it's like the stock of Kaprizov has just gone up and up. And like in a dynasty league next year, he's going to have the highest contract in the league. And it's kind of scary, but he and Quinn Hughes are making sweet music together. Also in Minnesota, they've got some players back. Boldy and Joel Eriksson Ek have rejoined the team after some absences. So Vladimir Tarasenko is no longer on the top power play. He was someone we were saying like, go get him. He scored. He had a couple good games. But yeah, now we're back to Zuccarello, Eriksson Ek, Boldy, Kaprizov, Quinn Hughes. That's PP1. I don't see any of those guys getting bumped. So unless there's an injury. And then the last thing I guess I could mention is Brock Faber is really good. And like we totally blew it because when they acquired Quinn Hughes, one of our takeaways was, well, forget about all these other Minnesota defensemen now that sometimes we're getting power play time. Now they're never going to get a chance at top power play, so they're all useless. Brock Faber has been anything but useless. He has 11 points in his last 11 games, still playing insane minutes. So yeah, there's not useless Brock Faber. That's the headline there about him.
Yeah, that's a really lovely headline, and I'm sure Brock Faber appreciates the treatment. I don't know that we fully did him dirty, but I think we did say, if you were hoping for him to benefit from being on the top power play and figuring that out, now that's definitely not going to be something that happens for him. And we were right about that. But one thing we obviously didn't like, maybe we should have articulated a bit better is. A rising tide lifts all boats. Classic podcast catchphrase. And Brock Faber has been one of those boats risen by the tide of Quinn Hughes and all he's brought. Quinn Hughes, by the way, has been so good since coming to Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota was solid before he got there, but now their offense has like gone from like good or very good to excellent. They're scoring almost an extra half goal per game since Quinn Hughes arrives. They're almost at 3.5 goals per game. Their power play is lights out. They're converting on 28% of their power plays versus 22% before, which is extremely respectable to begin with. And Quinn Hughes himself, he went from a 72-point pace in Vancouver on a 98-point pace now in Minnesota. One surprising thing is actually he was on the ice for like more chances in offense, at least as it's measured by expected goals, your favorite stat, Elon. He saw more of that as a Canuck than he has as a Wild. But in Minnesota, while he's on the ice, the Wild are scoring on 5% more of their shots at 5-on-5, and their power play is also clicking at a higher rate than Vancouver's was. So that's where Quinn Hughes is picking up his points, and that's where everyone in Minnesota is like Vladimir Tarasenko's picking up points, Ryan Hartman's picking up points. It's been a points fest in Minnesota. We'll see how Boldy coming back actually affects and Deck coming back affects those guys like Hartman and Tarasenko. I've seen Tarasenko dropped pretty quickly. Even though he was on a pretty hot run, he's done nothing for a couple games now. So I feel like it probably
he's
probably
off the
safe
top.
to move on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's out of the top 6. He's off the top power play. I think the party's over there. Ryan Hartman's still interesting because he's centering Kaprizov and Zuccarello. So he's someone who I definitely would still be
I'm
interested
holding
in.
him.
Yeah, the second line has been Boldy, Eck, and Marcus Johansson, and we know what Marcus Johansson is. Like he'll get you a point every now and then, but probably not that crazy hot streak from before. But yeah, it's been a wild time. No pun intended, over in Minnesota. So, Brian, I'm sorry, by the way. I totally did jinx Matt Sogard. He let in a goal pretty much right after I said that he had a shutout going.
So long as he hasn't let in 6.
Right,
Good.
yeah. There's still time. There's still 2.5 minutes left. But Rasmus Anderson scored his first goal as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. So cool for him. I guess we'll talk about him a little bit later. But I wanted to go to my next big hot streak here. Here's a surprising one, okay? Nikita Kucherov. He is too good. Like it's almost like I can't even bring him up on the podcast because like what are you supposed to say? But he doesn't just get like a point or two a game. He's like 4 points. Like often I see a 4-point game from Kucherov. He just did it again against Chicago yesterday. 1 goal, 3 assists. Kucherov now up to 78 points in 47 games. That's a 136-point pace. You may be thinking, I was thinking that I'll just write like pacing for like the best season of his career probably if he's going to get 136 points. Just 2 seasons ago, he had 144 points. I forgot about that. So this is like maybe he could like catch his record from 2023-24, but at 32 years old, Kucherov is better than he's ever been. So this guy is insane. It's been, of course, great for his line mates and anyone attached to Kucherov. So Anthony Cirelli is going off also 6 points in his last 3 games. Brandon Hagel doing his thing as per usual. Jake Gensel has been good. Like, this is going to be like a boring part of the podcast where I'm just telling you a bunch of guys who are awesome that everyone knows. Well, Cirelli might be available in some leagues. So I think at this point, I know like Cirelli goes hot and cold or whatever, but while he's centering, like Braden Point's been injured, you want the guy playing with Kucherov, and he's killing it. Also, Andrei Vasilevsky, by the way, on an insane run, letting in only 1 or 2 goals every game, playing big, volume. So Vas, I think this is one of the first seasons in a while where Vasilevsky's just been like consistently really awesome for a really long stretch. So good on him also.
Yeah, we don't talk about him much anymore because it's just kind of expected. Same with Kucherov, who his production has outpaced McKinnon and McDavid for the last 2 seasons before this one. This year, he's right in the mix. They have a slight edge on him at this particular moment. But when we talk about the insane paces that McKinnon and McDavid put up, we have to include Kucherov in the conversation now because this is year 3 in a row where it's just like out of this world, and year 4 or 5 or like 6 of 8 really where he's done this. So Nikita Kucherov legit, like, uncapped ceiling superstar, which is a big deal, right? Because we talk about guys like, picking someone early on like David Pasternak, who is excellent in his own right, but he tops out at like 110-point pace, which is normal, right? Like that's what we expect for a superstar. That's awesome. But these guys are superstars, and we just like there really truly isn't no limit to a player like Nikita Kucherov. Jake Gensel, just to zoom in on him for a quick moment, 89-point pace this season versus 82-point pace last year. He's basically at his high water mark now, and last year actually looked better than it did on the score sheet. Just at 5-on-5, he wasn't involved in as many goals as we would have expected. It's interesting to me that Gensel's managing 40-goal seasons, even while he's shooting less. Last year, power play helped him get there, 17 power play goals. That was a career high. He shot 28% on the power play this season so far, only 5 power play goals, and like a more normal or career standard 13% power play shooting percentage. So probably the way it ought to be, but it's lovely that Gensel still is still doing what we hoped he would do. I feel like he is doing it a little bit more quietly than he used to in Pittsburgh. But he's been rewarding. Like I remember wincing when I drafted him in the Cupful with, I think it was my 2nd round pick. Like I didn't want to do it, and I did, and it hasn't been the painful experience or the semi-painful. Like it hasn't been painful at all. It's been great.
Yeah, Gensel's awesome, and there's room for him and Hagel. I remember last year when I had Gensel, it was a little bit like, why is Hagel doing so well? Why isn't Gensel doing this? No, they're both good now at this point. You don't have to be mad. Next hot streak. Okay, another non-big surprise, but how can we not just mention Nathan MacKinnon? 27 points in his last 14 games. Every game he does well. Today, actually, in this win over Toronto, which was brutal for my fantasy team. Hopefully, we'll be able to hang on here. I had Matthews, Tavares, and Woll. My opponent had Blackwood, who wasn't even supposed to play. But Wedgwood had a baby or something. Anyway, whatever. So Blackwood played and he got the win. And McKinnon got an assist. So that's like a quiet game for Nathan MacKinnon compared to what he usually does. But in general, he, Natchez, like Makar, all doing well. I think the big news that's actually interesting and new out of Colorado is they've switched up the lines. And in this game against the Leafs and a couple games beforehand, Victor Olofsson has gone to the top line to play with MacKinnon and Natchez, and also on the top power play to play with MacKinnon, Natchez, Brock Nelson, and Cale Makar. So that's bumped Arturi Lehkonen to PP2. I'm seeing there was a power play in this game where there was MacKinnon with Lehkonen and Nelson and Nichushkins. I don't know, maybe they're trying different things. But the majority of it has had Olofsson there, line 1, power play 1. It's very sweet. Like, it's a good spot to be. He didn't get any points today. He did take 2 shots. He did score a goal, Olofsson, the game before versus Philly, and took 3 shots. Like, the shots have been good. Like, everything looks kind of nice for Olofsson right now. Seems like a good guy to grab while he has his deployment. I will just say, I wouldn't be surprised if it changes. Like, I think this happened earlier this year. There was another stretch where Olofsson got on the top power play, and then he ended up getting bumped, and then he was totally useless for a long time. So, it's worth mentioning, but just buyer beware. Things could change at the flip of a dime, whatever. Is that the saying, at the flip of a dime?
No.
I feel like I always get these a little wrong.
It's definitely not flip of a dime. Turn on a dime and flip of a hat? Turn of a hat? Something of a hat.
We'll see how long Olofsson sticks.
Yeah, that's the bottom line, and also whether he can continue, because even when he sticks, he's not always doing something with it. So I think whatever. Old hat is Brock Nelson getting a hat trick today. By the way, up to 20 points in his last 14 games. He can't be stopped. Is he on? Did he make the Olympic team?
How could he not? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't. Yeah, I think so. Sounds familiar. USA. Okay. Now I'm sounding really dumb. I'll just do an edit point here and make it sound like I'm really smart. Yeah,
he was added on. He was added on January 2nd. He was selected to the team.
Okay.
So, be curious to see how he looks. He's up to 27 goals now in 50 games. His career high is 37, and it took him 72 games to get there. So 10 more goals over the remaining 32 games, and he's tied his career high. This is just his shooting percentage is high. Like, that's definitely a driving factor here, but I'm not gonna bet on him slowing down. Like, when you're this much on fire and you're on a team that is this much general fire, I'm pumped. Good playoff schedule too. He could make, I don't know, like, you'd have to pay a crazy amount probably to acquire him in most leagues, but he could make a good acquisition down the home stretch if you think you can find a way to sneak him onto your fantasy team.
I mean, as someone who had Austin Matthews in this game against the Avs, it's like maybe Austin Matthews for Brock Nelson will be completely out of the question for a playoff week. I know that's a little insane, but I'm in the feels right now a little bit with Austin again taking a bit of a break. One more thing on Colorado, Mackenzie Blackwood was like cold. He was struggling the last couple of games, letting 6 and 5 goals. So good on him to get back on the right track against the Leafs today. Okay, next hot streak, Brian. Let's go to the Boston Bruins. I don't have anything really to say about it, but again, I just want to mention one of the hottest players in the league right now is David Pastrnak, who has, Frozen Tools shows 23 points in his last 12 games. So it depends how you want to slice it, but it's a long point streak at this point, like a 6-game point streak, a bunch of multi-point games in there, 6 shots in each of his last couple of games. I remember going into the season, it's like, oh, I don't know, like Pastrnak, he's great, but like who's he going to play with? The same kind of concerns we've had for a couple of years in Boston. He's fine. Like he's getting good players to play with. He doesn't even play with Morgan Geekie all the time at even strength and hasn't mattered at all. He plays with that guy Kuznetsov as his center, or at least Lindholm is the center. Like it doesn't really matter where Pasta is in the lineup. He's awesome. And Morgan Geekie, by the way, to his credit, like he went cold for a little bit, but now he's right back to doing his Morgan Geekie things. I don't know, Brian, did you have any Boston things you wanted to say? Because I just wanted to mention those two, but nothing too actionable here on the Bruins that I could find.
No, I just I think it's probably a pretty significant relief that Morgan Geekie had himself is hitting the score sheet again in all ways. Like even when he'd picked up a few assists, it's like okay, but he was scoring before, and he went goalless for a good long stretch. I'm actually just counting up 12 games. And now has 3 goals in his last 3 games, all coming on the power play. So it'd be nice to see some even strength scoring coming from Morgan Geekie again. But hey, I'm sure his managers will be happy to take just about anything. Yeah. Also, just real quick, sorry, okay, I also just wanted to mention Victor Arvidsson. He's slowed down. We were pretty high on him going into this week. He took 10 shots in 3 games this week, only picked up 1 point. It was a power play goal against Montreal just on Saturday, so he had to wait all week to get his production. I'm curious to see if Victor Arvidsson, like Boston has a good schedule.
Did I freeze or did Brian freeze?
Uh-oh. Can you see me?
Now you just came back. Was it you or me?
I think it was me. Just 1 sec.
Uh-oh. Brian's internet gets us again. Go restart the router. That whole thing. I guess in Ottawa, they don't have internet like they have in Toronto.
Hey.
Hey.
Are we good? I think we're good now.
Okay.
Where did I get to?
Something about Morgan Geekie. Good schedule.
I thought we were talking about Arvidsson.
Oh, Arvidsson, right? Yeah, you said something about a good schedule.
Okay, let me just start over on Arvidsson because I don't know where I got to. Okay, all right. And I think I said and just quickly, Victor Arvidsson is also just worth a mention because we brought him up on the show last week saying he'd been really consistent and producing and shooting, and then he did nothing for a couple games. But he did take 10 shots over 3 games, scored a power play goal. He had to wait till the end of the week in that Saturday game against Montreal to see his production. So hopefully he held on. It was easy to hold on because Boston has a good schedule to start this upcoming week. But I'm curious to see, I'd like Arvidsson to be someone who is generally and regularly and consistently relevant, which I'm not sure I can fully project. But I'd like to see it happen. So I'm still rooting for that.
Look, at the end of the day, he's been good. He seems like he's got some of his game back, but he's still he's not on the top power play. There's only so much production you can reasonably expect. So I think he's good, especially for a good schedule. But I wouldn't look at Arvidsson and okay, he's going to be a hold on my roster all season long. You kind of enjoy the good times, but there's going to be some quiet games. But nice to see the shots, like you said, Brian. Shams is mentioning in the chat, Korpisalo has been playing well. Totally true. 4 great games in a row. Not that Swayman has been too shabby. I think Swayman just got a win. I guess it was 3 goals against in that win against Montreal. And then I guess before that he did let in 6 goals. I don't think that Swayman is losing the net anytime soon, but definitely for a spot start. Or maybe Boston will just give Korpisalo a few more starts in the short term. I think, definitely Korpisalo's got his game right now.
Yeah, and I'll just shout out one other Bruin. By the way, the Bruins as a whole have been fantastic lately. Like
Oh yeah.
they were on a skid around the new year. They had lost 5 in a row. Only one of the or 6 in a row. 2 of them, 4 of them in regulation. And since then, they have rattled off 10 wins in their last 12 games. And one player who's also really producing in that stretch, Charlie McAvoy. 3 goals, 11 assists, 14 points in his last 12 games. Only 13 shots, so like classic McAvoy. But he's someone else who I also like had to grit it out a little bit when I clicked the button to draft him. He's not my idea of a dream power play quarterback, but he was the best option at the time, and I'm really thankful that he continues to produce. And I don't think we've really mentioned how great he's been in those last 12 games. With 14 points he's gotten, 6 have come on the power play, 5 in the form of power play assists.
And classic Brian, you break my heart once again. You're talking about Charlie McAvoy. You don't even mention that we also have him on our dynasty team.
Oh yeah, recently acquired.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah.
It's
oh,
a
yeah,
good thing it's a good thing we acquired him. I think like at the front end of this run he's been
awesome.
Yeah,
we needed D. And it's a good thing also we acquired Ryan Downey to join as a co-manager, so I could have someone to be excited about the team with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're having a great time all around.
Your fantasy manager doesn't care enough about your fantasy.
Yeah,
team,
that should be another
co-manager.
That's a reference to something we talked about in the pre-show for the patrons. We do. By the way, if you're a patron keeping Karlsson, we let you watch these shows live with we invite you to watch the show live with us, and we have a little.
You can witness the moment where the back of Elon's chair hit the microphone.
Yeah, you can go find that. Let's do one more hot streak before our break, okay? How about in Montreal? Cole Caulfield has been an absolute scoring machine. Like, we know that he's good at scoring goals, but he's like, pulling a Brock Nelson right now. He's up to 29 goals in 52 games after having a hat trick against Boston. And that wasn't just like a random hat trick. That was his 5th game in a row scoring a goal. He also had 2 goals against Ottawa a few games back. So it's an incredible run for Cole Caulfield. And of course, with him scoring all these goals, that means that Nick Suzuki is getting a ton of assists. So just both of them just like cruising together. Just incredible value for wherever you got them in your fantasy drafts. Suzuki's up to 59 points in 52 games. So that's a 93-point pace. Suzuki had 89 points last year. I don't know if anyone was expecting he's going to do even better this year, but so far it's looking like this. Looking like he's also another guy on Montreal who I remember at draft time, it was like a lot of debate, like when do you draft Lane Hudson, right? Like he's coming off this incredible rookie season where even like his total numbers in his rookie year weren't even representative. He had 66 points, but he was even slow to start the year. Like he was pacing for a lot more than that after the first month or so. But also it's like, oh, but he's like still young. Is he going to hit a wall? Like he has not hit any wall. Lane Hudson is going off right now. He's got 8 points in his last 5 games. He's above point per game, like 53 points in 52 games right now for Lane Hudson. I don't see a reason to expect him to slow down. This is like a guy who's probably going to be among the league leaders in defensemen over the next few years, like year in, year out. So yeah, again, I don't know what actionable thing there is there to say about Caulfield and Suzuki and Hudson, but had to give them their due. I guess the things going on in Montreal that are kind of interesting and maybe of players that are available, I'm sure actually they are likely available. You've got like Kirby Dach came back. So actually, didn't I see that Kirby Dach like got into a fight and maybe hurt himself? I think then he did come back. Okay. So that Kirby Dach I think is fine, but it's kind of crazy that this guy who's so injury prone got into a fight and like almost injured himself there. Texier was out and he came back. So it looks like in this last game where Montreal lost to Boston, they were rolling Texier back on the top line. So, it's not like Texier is incredible there, but it seems like he has the potential to get points. Like right now, Texier's on a cold streak, but there was that run just kind of recently, a couple of weeks ago, where Texier had a few multi-point games over a short stretch. So I think, hey, if you're playing with Caulfield and Suzuki right now, good things can happen. So if you have room, maybe Texier is someone to look at in a deeper league. And then, in net, Sam Montembeault, not going so well. So I don't know what Montreal's going to do there. It looks like maybe he had got his game back. Now he's back to struggling big time. They've sent Fowler down. I wonder if we haven't seen the last of Jacob Fowler. Too bad Montreal got all these awesome players, but the goalies are letting them down, kind of like the Sens.
Yeah, and like all 3 have like some reason for us to believe in them, but none of the. You know what? The one who I don't know. I was gonna say like Jacob Fowler is the one who's like been the least bad. Like if you just look at the starts and the number of times he's messed up, but he also has played the fewest games. So there's probably a bit of a correlation in that. But yeah, it's too bad Montembeault couldn't keep up his play. I assume the Habs are looking for a goalie to carry them and seeing if they can get someone in the groove. And I still think Montembeau's the front runner for that. But he's obviously got to actually come through. Just quickly on Lane Hudson, because you mentioned what he's doing. Yeah, he has improved. 84-point pace. That's a 20-point pace higher. You know what I'm trying to say there, versus last year. And he's added a half a shot per game, which was the biggest critique going into this season for Lane Hudson. It's like, yep, you can enjoy the assists and nothing else. But he's almost, if you round, he's up to 2 shots per game, but he's not. He's closer to a shot and a half per game. But that's helped him to 9 goals so far. He's playing the same minutes as last year, so he's just, I think that's actually a good sign. He's just getting to take shots more often. And the point per game pace from Hudson looks, this might not come as a surprise to anyone, but but for posterity, looks pretty sustainable to me.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps increasing those shot counts as he gets more mature, right? Like most players don't have their best shooting seasons in their rookie and sophomore years.
Maybe
so
he'll Quinn Hughes it at some point in his career.
Seems possible for sure. Didn't make that Olympic team. By the way, I know that's like some drama going on when I'm on Twitter sometimes. Like I'm trying to focus on the fantasy stuff. But a lot of Olympic debate, especially around these guys like Jason Robertson. Every time he scores a goal, you just see like, this guy didn't make the team. Are you kidding me? They can't use a guy who scores 50 goals. Like, anyways, it's pretty fun. I don't mind it. This has been fun. Also, Brian, let's take a break. We'll come back. More hot streaks. And I also have some stuff like, we got some good stuff. Wait, I don't know why I said like more hot streaks. See you soon. So, Brian, next up, another set of streaks on a team where I don't know how much actionable there is, but it is fun to look at how insane the run is that Ryan O'Reilly is on, along with Philip Forsberg, Roman Josi, all of our guys on Nashville. But Ryan O'Reilly is the one who was available in free agency at points earlier this year. Definitely not anytime recently. We're up to 13 points in the last 7 games for O'Reilly. He finally was shut out in the game yesterday against Utah in the 5-2 loss. Before that, O'Reilly had 2 straight 3-point games. There was a 4-point game, a hat trick and an assist against Colorado a couple weeks back. Overall, we're up to 50 points in 51 games on the season for Ryan O'Reilly, so almost a point per game pace. What incredible, and he's 34, almost 35. Like, what an incredible turnaround season for this guy after being closer to like a 55-ish point guy last year. And then, yeah, Philip Forsberg, who I think has generally been disappointing based on where he's been drafted, but he's at least picked it up lately. 8 points in his last 5 games for Philip Forsberg, including some really high shot games. There was a 7-shot game there against Buffalo where he had a goal and 2 assists. So that's been fun. And then, yeah, Roman Josi, who, Brian, I feel like we kind of biffed it a little bit in our Charcuter D episode, maybe ranking him higher than we should have based on all of his, missed time and his age. And then they started the year, wasn't looking that amazing. But lately, Roman Josi is just going off himself. 12 points in his last 7 games, had an assist and 4 blocks in the game against Utah. There's also a bunch of multi-point games. Recently scored a couple against Edmonton, 3 assists against Colorado, a couple assists against Vegas. So a lot of shots. We're seeing 4 shots in each of the last 3 games for Roman Josi. So he is clearly not done. Hopefully this POTS thing that he's dealing with is, behind him, or at least something that's being managed properly, and he could still go for a long time. He's 35 years old, but Roman Josi is like looking as good as he ever has, which I guess we've said about a few of these older guys. It's incredible. Professional athletes nowadays, Brian, they can go. Like, wait till we can talk about Sidney Crosby.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did. I think last week we talked about Sidney Crosby.
Okay, I guess we don't need to again.
Yeah. But yeah, so much for that. That POT, like, of course, like he missed some time this season. I actually can't remember at this point if it was because of his condition or not. But like right now for Roman Josi, he's up to a 63-point pace. And that's a win considering like a month of the season, he was doing nothing. It's also a win considering he was playing for the 25-26 Nashville Predators, who, now they look good. But remember how bad they were? They won 6 of their first 22 games to start the year. But I need a documentary. I need a video. I need something. And like the story's not over yet. But just about this Nashville team, like how many teams have made this many changes, right? Go back to that summer where they added Shea Stamkos and Marchessault. How many teams have made such big changes out of the blue and then experienced lows that low? They also had a new coach and a new general manager, and they actually managed to wait it out. Like they waited it out with Andrew Brunette. They waited it out with Barry Trotz, with their new players, with UC Saros even. for things to turn around. They've now won 17 of their last 25, or they were until now they've lost 3 of their last 4. But the point remains still, I think, like if Nashville is as good as they seem to be, and we were mentioning November, right, as they started seeming like they were doing the right things, even though the results weren't quite coming yet. It would be so interesting to understand exactly what happened. How many adjustments did they make, or was it just patience? Because I haven't seen this level of patience in the NHL or pro sports. I feel like ever. I've never seen a team that could compete be this bad and everyone survive to the point where they're like to be there when they're good again.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty wild. Like, I would not have guessed we'd be having this conversation and we haven't even mentioned Steven Stamkos. Like, it's like a couple weeks ago, or months ago, I should say, like everything just looks so terrible. And now, Nashville's a fun team. You're like kind of afraid to play a goalie against them. They've got a lot of guys who can score goals.
Yeah, we can pause for your ad here.
All right. So
because I'll make one last Nashville comment and then.
Okay.
What's
I'm
your
up by 20. I'm up by 20,
okay,
and my opponent only has Sam Bennett and Granlund left. So I think I'm probably going to win this. It seems pretty unlikely they're going to get 20 points from Bennett and Granlund, and I still also have Beckett Seneke. So I think we can comfortably say I've got this win. Unless I guess Bennett could go get a hat trick, but I've got 3 minutes to decide if I need to make an extra ad to add like Jeffrey Veal or something to secure the win. But I think I'm going to take the risk and just make a move for next week.
I feel like
you're being nervous.
Nervous. No, I don't. I'm just loading your matchup now. Oh yeah, you're up 20.
I'm up 20, and he has Sam Bennett and Granlund. That's it.
And you have a period
and
of
Hronek
for what it's worth, and Seneke. Yeah, you're fine.
How's he gonna get 20 points from Bennett and
Granlund?
Look,
it could
it's
happen.
Possible.
It could. Well, here's my question. I mean, you have a plan for your 2 moves, I guess. But I was gonna say like, oh, but if you added someone to play, then you could. I'm like, could you just make the first move and then the second move? But
so my plan is I only really have Justin Falk, I think, as a droppable guy, which I don't even really want to drop him, but I feel like I might as well not.
I mean, I would say Hronek is pretty droppable too.
Well, but I can't drop him. He's locked in my lineup.
Him. Yeah.
So.
Also, I was going to mention him later in the show, but Cooley also kind of droppable. I know you're holding him for the playoffs. We'll talk about it when we get there, but we can have a pre-talk now.
I just feel like I'll regret it. Like I don't know. I think I'll need him for the playoffs. Don't you think? I don't know. I just want to hold him a little longer. And also, like New York might trade off a bunch of guys, and he might go up in the lineup. I just want.
And you have Chychrun to bring out.
Yeah, I'll have to bring Chychrun out of IR.
So you have to drop 2 guys.
Oh no! Sorry, I have an opening actually. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's Troy. I was just going to keeping him in case Troy Terry was going to come back, but it looks like he's not. So Chychrun, I have a space for. Doing it now. I'm going to do it. So here's my 2 moves. Everyone, ready for this? I'm going to drop Justin Falk. I have 5D, so I think I'm okay to lose Falk. I'm going to get Lawson Krause.
You are more than okay to lose Falk.
Yeah, so I'm going to add Lawson Krause now for Justin Falk. Here we go. And done. Oh, wow, I just dropped Falk. I've had Falk for so long, but it's okay. Then Lawson Krause.
Shams, the thing with Veal is that, like, first off, we'll talk about it, but, like, who is Veal? And the second part is, like, 2 off-night games for me if it's Monday, and I think it's Monday, Sunday. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, like, that means I have to hold him the whole week. Like, I would rather...
Well, no, Veal would be good if I needed someone today, and then it's nice that he also plays tomorrow, I think is the idea.
Oh, sure. Well, okay, but Shams in the chat is saying you get 2 off-night games next week?
Well, yeah, but it's also if I needed it. But anyways, I haven't told Shams who I added instead.
Okay, but I was going to share just a general conversation point, but you could go ahead. You're excited.
Well, no, I did it now. I was thinking we could just save Veal for the show, but I mean, okay, go finish your point. Yeah.
Oh no, it's not Veal specific. It's like schedule specific. It's like if I have to hold a guy for more than 3 days before I get an off night game, then to me, I don't know. It's depends on how many moves I have available. But I'd rather get someone who's going to go for me Monday get 2 games early in the week.
Of course. Yeah.
And then, I'll risk not being able to add that guy back for Sunday.
Yeah, Shams is with you.
Yeah. Okay. All
anyway,
right. So
my moves are done. So I'm locked
who's the second move?
So I stashed Krause, and then Matvey Michkov had been dropped. So I now own Michkov, and he plays Monday, Wednesday next week. So if he goes back to being bad, whatever. I'll drop him after Wednesday, or maybe he can. I love ads like that. You know, a guy who's cold and then gets dropped, and now hopefully he can be my next Stamkos. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I've got Michkov on the team,
It's
and I'm
nice
done.
that
Now I just have to hope that I
Michkov-
can hold on to this
When was
20-point lead.
when was Michkov dropped?
Earlier this week. We'll talk about him when we get to him. I'll be able to say it on the show. So let's get back into the show now.
Never been a free agent in my division.
I mean, there's a few guys like that I've seen like available in yours that have never been. You know how it goes. Sometimes people are just like have more faith. But Michkov, like he got dropped and no one claimed him, right? Like he was super cold.
Yeah.
It's just like only last 2 games where he's like shown some signs of life.
Yeah.
We'll get him on the show. Okay, so where was I? I was saying something about.
I was going to add one
you're
thing
gonna
about
jump
Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then also before we leave Nashville, just like I feel like Luke Evangelista, and I might have mentioned him a lot this season. I just feel like he's on the doorstep. Like he had a nice little run this week. He's got 6 points in his last 5 games altogether, but he strung to get those. They were in 4 games. It was a 4-game point streak. He had a goal and 4 assists. He took 6 shots over those 4 games. He cardioed on Saturday against Utah, so he did absolutely nothing on the fantasy score sheet. It was a -2, but he does get time on the top power play. He does get time on the top line when they're not being weird, and sometimes when they are being weird. I just like to me, I have him in a couple leagues, and I just can't let go. I feel like he's so close to being like full season rosterable. I just wanted to shout him out because I don't think we've seen him reach that point yet. But I feel like before the end of the season, like he's on a 61-point pace. I'm not revealing anything like super secret. 30 assists in 50 games, 37 points in 50 games overall. 11 assists coming on the power play. So he's a key player there. And just shouting him out.
Luke Evangelista.
And also still likely a free agent. So if he's in a lot of formats. So just someone to at least have on your watch list to, I expect by the end of the season, or at least for sure by the start of next. Maybe this is more of a long-term call. That Luke Evangelista is going to be someone who's going to be helpful in fantasy.
Yeah, right. A lot of evangelizing for Evangelista.
Good one.
All right, let's go now to the Vegas Golden Knights, who just completed their loss to the Senators. So they took the 7-1 loss. So it takes a little bite out of this awesome hot streak that I'm going to mention. But Jack Eichel, Mark Stone have both been incredible. Is this like the first game that Mark Stone hasn't gotten a point in like a million years? I feel like. Let me
Against
bring
his
up Mark
old
Stone
team,
right here.
too.
That's you couldn't get past Mads Sogard. Yeah, before that, yeah, you just look at the game log. It's just an insane run that Mark Stone was on. Mostly goals. Like every game, he pretty much scored a goal. When he didn't score a goal, he'd have like 3 assists, like he did against San Jose a few weeks back. So just an incredible run. I'm sure he'll get right back on it very soon. Jack Eichel also has just been going off, which makes it like interesting for like there's still Barbashev. Barbashev is so tricky and frustrating, right? Because he's on a line with Stone and Eichel, like the two of the hottest guys in the league. Like I don't even think there is a better third wheel spot right now available in the NHL. And Barbashev doesn't do that much. He did have 2 assists on Friday, which was nice against Toronto. But yeah, another quiet game today, though I guess everyone was quiet today. I just feel like Barbashev is actually someone I added for the Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And so it wasn't a terrible stream. Like I got my 2 assists. I think that's very good to get 2 assists out of a 3-game stream. But at the same time, am I holding him? But then I feel probably not. But also, if I drop him, it's kind of like he's playing with Michaels. Like I feel like there's very likely he can start to get going again. There were stretches in the season where Barbashev was really awesome, but also he just goes so quiet. It's just very interesting how he's like able to somehow avoid points. I think we talked about him last week, and you were basically saying it's because like most of the points are coming on the power play. So I guess that answers it. But still, just on paper, it looks like the guy playing with Eichel and Stone all the time should be getting more points.
Yeah, the way that Barbashev has collected a 60-point pace this season is like the worst way to collect it. It's basic. Like I would rather not have guys like him on my roster, and I think I made that clear through the season. Like you could be on a 55, 60-point pace, but if it's like coming like 2 games at a time with 10 games in between, not so interesting. So I sure, you can hold Barbashev for the exposure, but I don't think he's that different from any other kind of like third wheel exposure kind of stream.
Mm-hmm. Then I guess I'll mention on Vegas. So Rasmus Anderson, like I mentioned before, did score today. So welcome to Vegas. That was his 2nd game on the team. He also had an assist in the game against Toronto. So a very nice start, Brian. I think you were saying around 40-point pace-ish to expect. So far, 82-point pace through 2 games. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I know that there was some discussion on the Discord of you saying maybe you are changing your mind a little bit about Anderson. Like, do you have any updated takes on what you're expecting from Rasmus Anderson for the rest of the season on Vegas?
Yeah, I think maybe this is actually from the school of Faber that we talked about already. It's like the same opportunity won't be there for Rasmus Anderson, but he still might be able to be a rosterable player. Like the way I made it sound is like, oh, he's off the top power play. So like that's really where his added value came from. But even without that, Rasmus Anderson can still be rosterable in like plenty of formats. So I'm still not expecting him. Like I'm sticking to what I said about, what you expect from Noah Hannafin, like whatever quote unquote consistency you get from Hannafin and upside you get from Hannafin, expect the same from Anderson. But I think when I talked about it last week, it was kind of like pessimistic and like glass half empty. And I think the glass can be neither half empty nor full, just be.
Okay.
What if I want to just call it in the middle?
Just call it a half.
The glass is exactly half.
Or you don't say half full. It's
the
half.
glass is half. It's a half a glass. Half a glass of Rasmus Anderson.
Okay, I like it. That you could write a book, I think, called Half a Glass.
Yeah, I think we're onto something.
Yeah. People are looking for like a new way to look at, like the world is complicated and confusing right now. We need a new philosophy to guide us. And I think half a glass is going to be the way of the future. But okay, let's
you
move on.
You heard it here first on the Fantasy Hockey Podcast.
Also, Aiden Hill, there was a fun comment on our Discord yesterday how like somehow like one of our patrons, I think it was Chris, was saying that he's in like 20 Discords and somehow the fantasy hockey one looks like it's the hardest to moderate. So there is something about fantasy hockey which I guess brings out a lot of emotions.
Definitely. Yeah, we do. We need these philosophies to get us through. I mean, I've talked about fantasy hockey zen often over the last few years. It's all a mindset, baby.
It's also just weird because we have to like put our brains in these weird places where it's like, oh, yay, this player got injured. Now the player on my fantasy team is going to do well. Or like,
right. How can we be unfeeling but deeply feeling all at the same time?
Oh, this terrible world event happened, which might lead to a game being canceled, which is great for me because my opponent in fantasy has that player on their team, like on that team. It's like,
it's so weird and awkward. Like even that laugh was like so conflicted.
All right. Well, let's just keep the fun going here at least. We could have fun here. Talk about how Aiden Hill sucks. That's the last thing I was going to say about Vegas.
That's fun. This guy really sucks at his job. Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. He hasn't broken a 900 save percentage since returning. What did he stay in for all 7 goals against today? Looks like he did. Yikes. So
oof. That's happening this year. The mercy pulls are not coming. I wonder if this is like NHL teams being more serious about rest.
Well, it's a compressed schedule, right? So I think it's just like, you can't afford to let Akira Schmid come in because he's already got like a couple games coming up next week.
Right. It's like, right, this is your night off. It has to remain your night off. And I wonder how goalies like this, again, if we had a KK beat writer, like this would be an interesting thing. For like, I want the Nashville Predators, the fall and rise. And I want, there's so many things I want, but I also want to know how goalies are feeling about being left in and how coaches are feeling and players. Like to me, it's a really interesting like micro storyline that I feel like we're seeing more than before, unless it's just recency bias. But for Aiden Hill, 4 pretty lousy games. Also, I mentioned Ottawa had taken a lot of shots on him tonight. That wasn't always like, he's played a couple games where he's barely seen 20 shots. And Schmid is right there. He's been more good than bad. It's not super consistent, but more good than bad. It's weird. I feel like Vegas doesn't want Schmid to happen. Like they're too invested. He's like the plan C. It's like they want their plan A or B to work badly enough, and I guess they're getting away with it. So why not keep trying, especially in that Pacific? Mason in our Discord asked, like, do the Vegas goalies suck? Or is the defense that bad? And I did take a look at their 5-on-5 expected goals against rates this season. Vegas and Ottawa are the top 2 teams in the league. Ottawa's the best at suppressing expected goals. And Vegas, I know.
Their goalies are just so terrible.
So their goalies are terrible, and Vegas's goalies are terrible. It is super interesting. Ottawa and Vegas are 1-2, and they're 30th and 32nd in team save percentage. Which
imagine being a defenseman on the Sens and being like, I'm doing so well. This is so frustrating.
I'm really nailing it. I'm doing everything right. You didn't play a whole lot of like EA Sports, like NHL, like
I mean,
the
back in the day, not online.
right online, but it's like if you do like everything you can as a defenseman, your goalie's just like flopping around, like and like skating, skating behind the net, and just like like acting a fool. I feel like that's how it feels like to be a defenseman for the Sens or Golden
That's
Knights.
for the KK beat writer. Ask like Tyler Clevin. Like, how does it feel
Yeah.
to have a bad plus minus when you're playing really well?
Yeah, it would be terrible to be really good at your job just for it to not even matter.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's keep going with the hot streak. This is supposed to be the happy episode, Brian. So let's go to Detroit. Lucas Raymond. I think I've said this before, so I'm just saying. I'm repeating the news. Lucas Raymond is a superstar. He's broken out. He's incredible. He is on another great hot streak. 9 points in his last 5 games after 2 straight multi-point games. So we're now at 58 points in 51 games on the year, which is a 93-point pace. I wouldn't be surprised if Lucas can push for 100. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. So he's doing awesome, which means you want people playing with Lucas Raymond. And right now they're back to loading up the top line. It's Raymond, Larkin, and guess who, Brian? Marco Casper, who we have on our Dynasty team. I won't even let you disappoint me by not mentioning that right away. So I'm just going to get it right off the bat.
I know
we know
he's
there
there,
because
and I'm
we've had
glad
some
he's
trade
still
talks.
there. He almost wasn't there, but he is. Feels
he
good.
he was cold for a while, and I was like, "What? We're going for it this year. We can't afford to just wait on Marco Casper. Let's just like sell him for someone good now." But it's like I'm glad we waited because now he's in a good spot and capitalizing. Because it's easy to be in a good spot, right? A lot of people are. Barbashev, he's been in a good spot too, not doing too much. Marco Casper though, 6 points in his last 5 games. That game against Winnipeg, that big 5-1 win. Marco Casper, goal, assist, 3 shots, 6 hits. Oh yeah, this guy. So who knows how long it'll last, but I like Marco Casper on the top line. I hope that they keep that going a little bit. And I think if Casper's available to you now, I see him at least at the Barbashev level. Okay, and I don't know how long it'll last. Maybe it's a more tenuous spot in the lineup. Like we've seen, that's just a new thing. It could change again anytime. But while Casper's there with Larkin and Raymond, like why not? And producing. So go for him. He's the new JVR. He's the new cop, who are both fine too. But right now, Casper's the hotness. What do you think? Casper versus JVR. Who's the keep or who's the ad?
So I feel like it. So JVR, I just dropped JVR because he plays Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. He could play. Like I have a few guys who I could choose to put in on those busy nights or JVR. And it's weird to drop Van Riemsdyk when he has done everything I've wanted since I added him. Like he's been on a really like we've been tracking it a little bit, but he's up to 12 points in his last 10 games. Yeah. He has 24 points total on the season in 44 games. So half his production has come in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But the reason I dropped JVR is his time on ice the last 3 games, 12 minutes, 9 minutes, 12 minutes. He's basically like a power play specialist almost at this point. Like that's where his points are coming also. But he's also not always on that top unit. So that's why I've said so long to James Van Riemsdyk. Would I prefer Marco Casper? It's like, yeah, you know what? Sure. Why not? Like a lot of we've seen it's been a long time since we've seen production like up and down the Detroit lineup. But Comfer had himself a game. Kopp has been good. Van Riemsdyk, Casper. So yeah, I think I'll take Casper for the moment. Although like in 2 weeks from now, if you ask me who I'm most likely to have felt good about rostering or like who's going to have done better over the next 2 weeks, I'll still give the edge to Van Riemsdyk. But if I'm looking like 1 or 2 games at a time, I'll go Casper.
Yeah, I see that. Like it's very much short term, and like you're saying, maybe for next week you don't want anybody because of the bad schedule. You're not really going to be benching people to play Marco Casper, like Shams is saying here in the chat. But he's good. Well, for our Dynasty League, he's good. Anyways, and also nothing to say about it. But John Gibson, just continue. Go back to last week. Go back to the week before. Everything I said about John Gibson still applies. This guy's a freaking winner. Doesn't lose. When's the last time he's played a game and lost? I can't even find one. Like he just wins. He lost on...
I wasn't prepared to answer that question.
January 3rd. He lost on January 3rd to Pittsburgh. It was a 4-1 loss. He only let in 2 goals. So I guess it was like 2 empty net goals. So he's up once in a while he lets in 2 goals and Detroit doesn't score enough and he loses. But that's like once a month, it seems at this point. So he's awesome. Okay, so next up, we're going to go to the Oilers where we're not going to start with Connor McDavid. We're going to start with Evan Bouchard after the incredible game he had yesterday against the Washington Capitals. Bouchard went off to the tune of 3 goals, 3 assists, 8 shots. Like, what an incredible performance. Before that, Bouchard had been fine, like an assist here or there, but all of a sudden a 6-point game really does a lot for your numbers. So now he's jumped above point per game, up to 55 points now in 53 games for Evan Bouchard. And I mean, I'm going to take the over on point per game rest of season. We'll see if we can like build on that. But yeah, that was a huge performance for him. Connor McDavid had a huge performance as well. A big reason why I was sweating my fantasy matchup today was because yesterday I went to bed after like I think the second period of that game and I was ahead by a lot. And then I woke my opponent, Serpsu, has McDavid. And when I woke up, I was like, oh, wow, he really had a good third period and really like made it a lot closer than I was hoping it would be. But anyways, we know that McDavid's good. We know that Bouchard is good. How about the goalies? I think we got to focus on the goalies here in Edmonton because it is. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, Brian. So Tristan Jarry had that terrible game against Pittsburgh, led in 6 goals on only 22 shots against, a huge negative. I actually dropped him the morning before that game because I assumed that Connor Ingram was going to play because like Jarry had played Tuesday. I figured Ingram would play Thursday, and then I dropped Jarry to add actually Barbashev. To get 3. I figured like I'll take 3 games from Barbashev over like a single game from Jarry on like Saturday. Maybe I could even add him back on Saturday. That was my thinking at the time. Then I saw in the morning, Thursday morning, I was like, no, Jarry is going to play. I was like, oh, I made a huge mistake. I thought they were going to go 50-50. Now they're giving Jarry. Anyways, Jarry was like a godsend, right? He sucked. He got a huge negative. So I avoided that. Then the next game, Connor Ingram played against Washington and he got totally wrecked. He got pulled. And then Jarry came in, led in 2 goals on 15 shots, and ended up getting the win for that game against Washington. So where are we now? I guess at this exact moment in time, I would assume Jarry plays Monday against Anaheim. And if he does well, then he's the starter. But I mean, if he does badly, then I feel like Ingram gets the next game. If he does well, he's the starter. So at this one, I think it's like very hard to predict goalies right now in Edmonton. But right now, I guess I'd give the edge to Jarry. But someone else is taking him, so I can't get him back anymore.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Like when you dropped him, I was like, Elon, what have you done? And like I still feel a little like I have him in one league and I'm ready to wait out. Like he's someone that I want to drop, but I'm not dropping. Like I'm gonna try and wait out the uncertainty. And like if push comes to shove and he's the drop, then he's the drop. But I'm hoping that I can hold on just long enough to be able to see if he ends up being the starter or not. It's hard to pull the chute, right? Or pull the plug before finding out. And I guess my question is in Edmonton, I don't like, obviously this isn't sorted right now between Jarry and Ingram. I feel like it's close to 50-50 for who ends up emerging or even whether either of them end up emerging. So the note I've wrote to prepare for the show is how long do you think we're going to have to wait for the Edmonton crease to sort itself out? I don't know. Like it could be done. It could be done in 5 days. It could be done in 5.
It could be
hockey
never.
weeks. It could be never.
Like look at last year. Did it ever get sorted between Skinner and Pickard? Like they just went into the playoffs not sorted and throughout the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, but you'd think you brought in 2 new goalies to the organization. You traded for one of them. You traded your starter to bring one of them in. You would think that there would be like some kind of path that you're finding yourself on at that point. But unfortunately for fantasy managers, that's not the case. So yeah, I treat Jarry and Ingram both as like, hold them if you can. But while things are getting sorted out, I think each of them have a chance at not being the guy as much as they have a chance of being the guy. So keep that in mind if you're holding on a little too tight to either one.
Yeah, and also we're seeing they also have the potential to just like give you a really bad negative on your fantasy score. Like they're not like super safe starts. But okay, let's go to our next hot streak here. Oh no, I did want to mention one more thing, Brian, on Edmonton. Darnell Nurse. I'm bringing back the snoozer question to you. Nurse has been like, not a big offensive guy, but generally rosterable a couple, like ever since we started doing this podcast, I feel like he's always been like so solid just because of his peripherals, like good for shots for a defenseman, like blocks and hits. He's done enough to always be around like 4 fantasy points per game, a couple, which is pretty good for a D. But recently he's fallen like even below. I wonder if now with Wallman in the picture and Ekholm, like I wonder if Nurse is just like not as like big a deal on the team. Like I don't know, but we're looking at now like 1 assist in his last 10 games. 1 assist in the last 12 games, even if you want to go further back. And even worse, like the last 4 games, just 1 or 2 shots each game for Darnell Nurse. the perfs are like okay, but like not like the crazy numbers we've seen in the past. Like I'm wondering, is this a snoozer like in Cupful, in our kind of scoring format? Is it time to just move on from Darnell Nurse, or do you think it's more like he'll get back to just doing his regular lots of shots and blocks soon as just a weird aberration?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never like really cared that much about Darnell Nurse in fantasy. He's someone I think I rostered him like 1 year and it worked out nicely. But generally, no, I don't think he's terribly helpful. And I would just be like, yeah, if he's his hits, he's barely got like 1.5 per game versus usually having 2 per game. He's blocking. His blocks are solid on the on the whole. The hits have sort of disappeared a little bit. The shots occasionally, like he can put up 5 or he can put up 1. I don't really have the patience for like a defenseman who fluctuates as much as Nurse does. And yeah, he's on a 25-point pace versus the usual mid-30s, which hurts even more. He's lost ice time this year. He's down almost 2 minutes a night compared to last season. I think it's okay. Like, I don't know. It's a kind of a weird question, Elon, because like I would never feel that committed to Darnell Nurse that I'd hold him while he's cold. But for anyone who is, like, sure, maybe he'll be useful again later in the season, but I would definitely like rather see if there's someone else or cycle through like random D hot streaks instead of waiting on Darnell Nurse. He's not someone that I think is really worth waiting on.
Like, I mean, yeah, but the last couple seasons he's been above 4 fantasy points per game, which is for Cupful really good for defenseman. This year he's like around 3.65. So he's taken a dip. I don't know if it's just he's getting older or if it's like I said, like Wallman is now in the picture, maybe taking some of the shine, getting some of the more offensive opportunities.
Yeah,
so.
Nurse is playing fewer. And remember, like Nurse is also like Nurse, some of his better fantasy seasons came before Wallman, also came before Ekholm. So I feel like he's kind of still riding that, but again, he's lost ice time this season, not at 5-on-5, but in other situations, and I think that probably has something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you definitely have a good opportunity for hits and blocks, I guess, on the shorthanded side of the ice. Okay, so Utah, Clayton Keller is going off. Dylan Guenther, awesome again. I don't know how much we need to dive into those guys, but good to see them going. Once again, Brian, we have to mention Barrett Hayton. I hate it. I hate it so much. But look, he's back on the top power play. So it's been Hayton, Keller, Schmaltz, and Guenther bumping Paterka to PP2, which like even with Logan Cooley out, Paterka can't crack the top power play. But yeah, I guess they like Hayton. I think it's for the face-offs. I think that's what everyone says. But he's also starting to score. He's scored a power play goal in each of the last 2 games. He's actually scored in 3 straight games. That last game against Nashville, where Utah won 5-2, Hayton had a goal, an assist, and 7 shots. So like, he's on the top power play. What is he doing at even strength? I'm sure he's in a decent enough spot. Hayton with Paterka and Daniel Boot. Like, I guess it's like the second line, right? It's Keller, Schmaltz, and Yamamoto. Well, I guess Yamamoto was there because Krause was ill. So assuming Krause comes back, Keller, Schmaltz, Krause, Guenther, McBain, Carconi, and Hayton, Paterka. It's like probably a middle 6.
It's middle 6.
Not a bad spot.
Or
it's
top
not a bad
9.
spot for Hayton, yeah.
Well, middle 6. It's middle 6, but like a productive middle 6. Because just the top line, like with Schmaltz and Keller, is like so, I think, like better enough than the others that we can't fully call it. It's a top 9. I'm going to go top 9. Yeah. I mean, the 7 shots really was surprising, and the power play time too, and the goal, all of it surprising from Barrett Hayton. And yeah, unfortunately, he's doing this to us again. He's someone that we need to consider. I considered adding him for next week in a matchup where I'm going to be against the second-ranked team that I have a 2-win lead on in Tier 2 Pittsburgh, kkpupfl.com. By the way, if you want to see the standings or follow along. But Sam added Barrett Hayton instead of me. I used my 4th move on Dan Vladar, and I really hope it doesn't bite me. I just couldn't get on that ride again with Barrett Hayton. So I think
you'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll find out. It's gonna like. It would have been painful to pick him up and he does nothing. It will be equally painful just like if he does something when he's not on my team and it directly affects me. So this is the notice that we need to consider. Barrett Hayton. Also consider you like someone else in that top 9 is McBain. Is it Jack McBain? There was a Jamie McBain. I don't know if they're related. Jamie McBain played like 30 years ago for the inaugural Ottawa Senators.
You told me that also. Like, why? Why are we considering Jack McBain? Because he's good at hits?
Yeah, he hits a lot. The floor is good. He's playing with well, I saw coach say he and Gunther have some chemistry between them.
I doubt it. I don't think I doubt him. But I get it.
They quote enjoy playing together.
Okay. He looks like a cool guy. His profile picture here on Frozen Tools.
Good hair.
Yeah, he owned 1 assist in his last 4, but before that he did have a couple good games. So a 7-shot game. These 7-shot games sometimes get us, you know? It's like, I remember, Brian, when we were talking about Charlie Coyle on Columbus, like, oh, that's a 7-shot game. It's like, gotta, I don't know. Some of these players just randomly get 7-shot games. I don't know what it is. Barrett Hayton's not having another 7-shot game next week. I'm pretty confident, but we'll see if that blows up in my face. Also, I guess we have to mention Vejmelka. Like, freaking Karel Vejmelka's really good. And for fantasy, he's like extremely good because they play him all the time. Utah's like good enough that he's getting a lot of wins. It's like 5 wins in a row. Oh, did we mention that? Did I say Vegas also? Utah has 5 wins in a row, all with Vejmelka in net. He's great. Like, when we do more goalies board next year, it's going to be really tricky. Like, how can we not have him? If you look at the top goalies over the past 30 days and just total fantasy points, do you want to try to guess them? You probably saw it in my notes. There's Vejmelka's 3rd. There's 2 goalies ahead of him who are like both guys that were in free agency, I'm sure, like at the start of the year. So Gibson and Greaves, which just goes to show how random goalies are, that those were the 3 best goalies this past month, Vejmelka, Gibson, and Greaves. So definitely an argument for not reaching for your Hellebucks and your whatever Ottingers. Vasilevsky, like I said, has been good lately, but Vejmelka's good. So good for him. And he went through some tough moments where it looked like he'd lost the starter's job in Utah when Connor Ingram was doing so well, but now Vejmelka's got that locked up and no challenge at all from anybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the volume for Vejmelka was enough to have a lot of us interested in him for most of the season. But now Vejmelka is playing well too. He's really cleaned up his game over the last month or so. Excellent 5-on-5 numbers amongst the best in the league. So he's not just spamming starts to get to the top of these rankings you're mentioning. Ilan Vejmelka has actually been playing well and boosting his numbers. Like, honestly, not that different than John Gibson.
And then let's go to one more hot streak before another break here. The Rangers, I don't have much to say. Zibanejad, Miller, Trocheck still going strong. Lafreniere still disappointing. Will Cooley not doing much.
Yeah, I want to pause on Cooley because you roster him. He's on a 39-point pace this season. Cooley has 2 points in his last 13 games, lots of low volume shooting, and he's playing on a third line with nobody. I guess the Rangers are known for like having a good playoff schedule in our Cupful calendar. Is that the reason you're holding Will Cooley still? Like, I guess if Lafreniere gets traded, then maybe Cooley. But Lafreniere, or I saw the rumor, what was it? Lafreniere for Shane Wright. Shane Wright will step into the top 6.
But I also saw Panarin could get traded.
Right.
So,
but then, I guess Cooley gets to play still with Zibanejad and whoever. I don't know. To me, I wondered about the appeal going into the season, and I was ready to try and believe some of the hype, and he just hasn't ever really delivered. And you've been holding him all the while. So what's your read? What's your read on Will Cooley?
He's still over 4 fantasy points per game on the season, which generally is a cutoff for me for forwards to be appealing. It's definitely, that semifinals week. Like, my fantasy team looks like it's going to win again this week, so I'm still in first place. If I can get a bye, and then I get to the semis, and then in that week, it's I know it's cocky almost to think like that, but it's just if I could get to that week, then the Rangers go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday on a week where the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are insane. Just everyone's playing, except the Rangers. So it just feels like he's going to be a hot commodity. And he last year, Will Cooley was really good, right? He had 4.2 fantasy points per game. So it's just at this point, it's hopium a little bit that he can get back to what he was. But yeah, over the past month or so, he's only been around 3 fantasy points per game. Not as good, but hey, still in a week like that, it could be worth it. But you're right. As now I just added Matvei Michkov off the air just for the people listening. I paused at one point, made an edit point, and then added Michkov. So that's another roster spot that at some point I'm going to have to drop someone. I have Troy Terry in my IR right now. I have Lawson Krause in my IR right now. At some point, I'll have to consider drops. And yeah, I guess Cooley is someone to consider, but I would really hate to drop him and then have him beat me in the semifinals, and that's why I lose. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's nothing wrong with what you're saying.
Bit of FOMO is keeping him on your roster for the time being.
Yeah. I also just would love to see how the roster shakes out with all these rumors of the Rangers being sellers. You know, like what? How does it actually look once? But I mean, maybe he's just not like a top 6 player, and that's just how it is. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the hot streaks. We'll go to Washington. See you in a sec. So next up, Brian, Tom Wilson is back from his injury. He's picked up right where he left off. 3 games back, an assist in each of those games. And hey, actually 2 assists yesterday in that loss to Edmonton. So Tom Wilson just continues his incredible season. The team overall just lost almost every game while he was out of the lineup. It was a 3-game losing streak. And then he came back against Vancouver. They still lost. They did beat Calgary on Friday, but then Saturday took that bad loss 6-5 to Edmonton. But anyways, I think that Tom Wilson managers don't really care about that. They just care that he's back in the lineup and doing well. Dylan Strome heating up again. I know he's been tough to hold at times in the season, but he's looking okay right now. John Karlsson, someone we don't talk about that much. I feel like Jacob Chikrin's taken all the shine this season, but John Karlsson has continued to be like really great for fantasy. He's got 5 points his last 3 games, up to like a 72-point pace on the season. What an amazing year for Karlsson, who I believe is on the last year of his contract. I wonder what the plan is. 36 years old. I don't see I don't see him slowing down, right? Like again, like a lot of these guys we've talked about, he looks like he's putting up some of his best ever numbers as a 36-year-old. So incredible for him. And then I guess I have some more names on Washington. I guess I'll just flip through all of them. Then you can just decide who you want to talk about on your side. Justin Surdeef seems for real, right? He's been playing on this line with Protest and Tom Wilson. And I still remember he had that big game in the week where they had a good streaming schedule. So it was like we were all excited about Justin Surdeef. But since then, he missed a couple games. Since he's come back from that injury, 5 points in his last 3 games, had a goal and an assist versus Edmonton in that game yesterday. We're just at a point now where Justin Surdeef just seems like a hold. Like he just seems really good. And on the flip side, I know a lot of people are still excited and holding Ryan Leonard, but Ryan Leonard, who's on the top power play, which is a really good spot, he's actually pretty cool. He's pointless in his last 5 games. So if you're in a situation where you have Leonard in your lineup and Justin Surdeef out there at free agency, I think this would be a good question to ask yourself is like, why do I still have Leonard when I could have Surdeef?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. And for Surdeef, he's picked up right where he left off before being injured. Elon, actually, something I only we've talked about him a few times, but I only learned tonight what organization he played a total of 4 NHL games with for the last 2 seasons.
Surdeef? Was it Florida?
Yeah, good for you. How did you know that?
It's a memory.
Huh. From the 4 NHL games he played?
I don't know, or maybe I just knew him from seeing tweets about when he was traded. I don't know what it was. Something in my head told me that Surdeef was in Florida.
Okay. Just to some context for Surdeef, 87th overall pick in 2020. The NHLer we probably know best from that same area of the draft. It picked 83rd overall in 2020 was Alex Laferriere. So if you think about where he's at in his career, Surdeef is, hoping to be in the same place, but has about 150 games of catch-up to do on Laferriere. He was okay, Surdeef, in the AHL, but nothing that would have suggested this recent success. He does seem to have injury history going back to his junior days in the WHL. But lately, I mean, when he's healthy, Surdeef has been great. 8 goals in 11 games, in his last 11 games, on 23 shots. So he's shooting 35%, which is definitely contributing to the hot run that Surdeef is on. 2 of the goals he scored have been on the power play, so those are high percentage shots. So still, obviously, he's performing a little bit above his head. But Elon, I'm with you. If I were to have to choose one of these guys, Surdeef and Leonard, to stick with the rest of the season, I'll go with Leonard. The way I talked about Luke Evangelista is I think he's on the doorstep. I think he's right there. I mean, Ryan Leonard was already there, and then he took a step back, but he's still taking 2 shots per game. Had 5 shots at Calgary on Friday night. With Ryan Leonard, I don't think you need to hold on to him the way I would have thought the last couple weeks. But like Evangelista, I think Ryan Leonard could become a rest of season hold at any moment. And I think Surdeef will slow down eventually. But I mean, who knows with Washington? I've been wrong with almost all of them over the last couple years. So keep that in mind about anything I say about a Washington Capital.
I think it's good. It's easy to just come in and be like, well, one's hot, one's cold. You want the hot one. You're saying Leonard overall still. And Leonard's the much more high pedigree guy. And like I said, Leonard is still playing on the top power play. Though at even strength, Leonard's been playing with McMichael and Strome. Surdeef playing with Protest and Wilson. What is that? And then Ovi's been with Beauvillier and Nick Dowd. It kind of looks like Ovi's like on a third. Anyways, I think they're like changing up the line. That was a crazy game also against Edmonton. So we'll see how the lines shake out in the next game. But yeah, Washington also a team with 3 solid lines there. Okay, so let's go now to the next hot streak I have, and it's Cutter Gauthier. Remember when we used to talk every week about how Cutter Gauthier was doing so awesome? Well, time for a throwback. He's finally doing it again. It took a few injuries. At this point, I don't know why. It's like only when Troy Terry is out of the lineup, whatever. But like, yeah, we're at 5 points in 3 games for Cutter Gauthier going into today's game, and we're back to the big shots. He had 7 shots in that game against Seattle, where he had a goal and an assist in the 4-2 win. Had an assist and 5 shots the game before that. Had 2 goals and 4 shots the game before that. Like, we're back to Cutter Gauthier from the beginning of the season after a stretch where he went like 0s and 1s and 2s for a little bit of a while. So definitely anyone who held on to him or bought low on Cutter Gauthier is now enjoying it. We'll see if that continues. I guess Anaheim's just starting their game now against Calgary, and they're already down 2-0. So too bad. A good thing I wasn't planning on bringing up how Lucas Dostal was looking good, because it looks like it's not a good start to the game for him today. I guess the other name on McTavish is the other guy hurt, by the way, on Anaheim right now. We'll see if he comes back. Like Troy Terry and McTavish. Like, when are these guys coming back? Also, Brian, I totally jinxed Beckett Seneke. I was saying, I think the last time we talked about Anaheim, I was like, is he like the only good? He's like the best one right now, the best forward to have in fantasy. And then ever since I said that, pointless in 3 games. So we'll see if today Seneke can finally get something. Because I'm counting on him. Let's go, Beckett. And then the last guy I need to mention is someone playing with Cutter Gauthier that's been benefiting from this exposure is a guy who they just acquired from Boston, Jeffrey Veal. They got him in a trade, and I guess for now he's an injury fill-in. I don't know how his lineup spot will change once McTavish and Terry are back, but Jeffrey Veal riding a 3-game point streak going into today, and this is a guy that also hits a lot. 5 hits in that game against Seattle, where he also had an assist and 4 shots. So I don't know who he is. I don't know why. Like, I don't expect this to be something that will last, but I added him to our dynasty team. So for as long as he's played fewer than 100 career games and he's minors eligible and we could drop him at any time without having to do a buyout, seems like a pretty solid guy to have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about solid, but you could try the Veal. I mean, people on our Discord seem to be into him. There's some chatter, there's some buzz about Jeffrey Veal. He's not like Sourdif. Sourdif is still, I actually don't have his age up anymore, but he was drafted in 2020. So yeah, he's about like 24 years old. Jeffrey Veal he turns 29 on the 28th of January. In the last 3 games that Veal has played going into tonight mark the first time in his life he's played 3 consecutive games above 10 minutes in the NHL. I mean, he's really only played 20 NHL games in his last 4 seasons. He played the majority of his NHL games in his first 2 years as a 24 and 25-year-old undrafted with the San Jose organization. But yeah, he, like Sourdif, also hasn't seemed like remarkable in any way in the AHL. But I guess Veal has good deployment and some opportunity. And hey, I mean, we've seen Sourdif, we've seen Pavel Regenda. I'm not saying that this is going to last anything, but when we see a guy put the puck in the net, you got to give him a shot sometimes. And given Veal's deployment, I see plenty of reason to at least give him a look.
All right, let's go to Carolina now, where Svechnikov's still hot. Jarvis is hot, whatever. Nothing new to report there. Brandon Bussey is still hot. And we're getting to a point now where it's like, it's getting ridiculous. Like, are we going to start having Vezina conversations about Brandon Bussey? Like, I guess what I said about John Gibson has been good lately. Vaz has been good lately. I guess the conversation is heating up a little bit. But, like, Bussey never loses. He's played 23 games. And he's won 19 games. He's coming off a win against Ottawa yesterday where he stopped 35 of 36, which is kind of rare. Like, usually Carolina's pretty good at suppressing shots. But it looks like Bussey could even hing on when he has a lot of shots against. So this guy is having just an incredible rookie season. 27 years old, but I don't know. So maybe he doesn't count. Maybe he can't even win the Calder. Maybe he's not eligible.
I think you need to be 25 or younger, if memory serves.
So he can't get the Calder. He might as well just get the Vezina because this guy is money. Like, Matt.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had him in fan. Like, he was available, obviously, for all of us at one point.
Yeah.
Now the only downside is they're still actually giving Anderson games. Like,
He's
they're
still,
not.
Yeah. Bussey is still only playing every other night. He started consecutive games a couple times, but he's still only playing every other night, and I expect that to continue. That's how Carolina likes to do it. At least Kochekhov's out of the way, and he's starting every other night versus every other, 3 nights or, twice every 5 nights. So it's great if you have, but make sure Bussy's going to work for your format. But if he does, yeah, he's been great. I had him in a league and I dropped him when Kochetkov came back because I'm like, I'm not going to have one of the 3 Carolina goalies. I've regretted it ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you did that, but at this point, yeah, it does seem crazy, and that'll be another fun. When we do Schmore goalies board next year, like how high is he going to be? Like, I guess Kochetkov will be back, and so it'll be really tricky to try to peg someone like this. Like, I guess Frederick Anderson's contract will be up, and they'll probably go Kochetkov and Bussy. Jeez. He's good. And also I had to bring him up because, Brian, you had such a great episode title idea based on the show Girls 5 Eva. So I don't know if that's going to make it as the episode title, but that was
I think it will.
You made me chuckle. You made me chuckle.
I don't want to go any further than that. We did just actually, it hasn't been long. Like I think maybe a month ago, we had a Brendan Bussy episode title. It was impossible to catch. It was Applaud to Bussy. I don't know if you probably don't remember.
No. I remember you did it. I don't remember what the reference was.
It's a reference to Claude Debussy. I don't know. He's a French composer. From the late 19th and early 20th century.
I'm sure that was great for our SEO.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to go with the Girls 5 Eva reference tonight, though. Brandon, but I don't want to wait. What if I don't have another chance to name a show after him?
I think you will. I think we might have years based on how the season is going.
Keep the Bussy to episode titles coming then.
Yeah,
please.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's a good name. We haven't even done Wheels on the Bussy, something basic like that. It's always available to us if we need.
Yep.
But okay, so Sidney Crosby, we're going to Pittsburgh, is awesome still. I guess we already talked about it recently. Did we talk about Evgeny Malkin? I feel like we haven't talked much about Evgeny Malkin, who is going again, right? He's got 5 points in his last 3 games, including a goal today against Vancouver. I think this game has ended now, which, by the way, Brian, my Philip Hronek, and says, you keep on telling me how Philip Hronek sucks and I should drop him, but he's doing okay, Philip Hronek. I think he's... Give him a break.
When you tell me you don't have a drop, and I see you have Philip Hronek on your roster,
3 points in his last 4 games. He's for a D, he's solid. The thing with Philip Hronek is he plays
Philip Broberg did that for me on a couple occasions. He's not on my roster.
Philip Hronek though plays 28 minutes a game. He's like the
Broberg was up there too.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see. Yeah. Right now, I just dropped Falk, so I gotta hold Hronek. I like having 4D. You're brave. You go like down to 2D sometimes or something. Like I just like to have it filled out there. But okay, it looks neater. Like my lineup looks neater when I don't have empty spots there in a roster spot. But okay, where was I? I was talking about Pittsburgh. Malkin is good. So Malkin's good again. I guess we had a stretch where Malkin was good at the start of the year. Then he went absolutely cold. I guess he got injured. I don't know what the story is, but Malkin's very interesting because I thought he was going to retire after this season, but now I'm seeing some tweets saying maybe he'll get extended. So it'll be fun to follow along and see. And like Malkin hasn't been playing with Malkin or Mantha and Brazeau like he was earlier in the year. The lines have been like Malkin with Tommy Novak and Yegor Chinnikov. And like Novak and Chinnikov have been benefiting. I think Chinnikov scored today, yeah. So it's like, or he had an assist. I'm seeing Chinnikov assisted on a goal. From Malkin. Malkin from Novak and Chinnikov. There you go. And then you have Mantha and Kindle on the third line with Brazeau. They're doing okay too. So there's a lot of, it's not the same as like some of these other teams where we've talked about a top 6 where it's like some real stars, but I kind of like if Pittsburgh ever has a good schedule, I could see like going for a Chinnikov, going for a Novak, going for a Kindle, Brazeau, Mantha. There's some names there in Pittsburgh that are doing stuff, which I guess is the big surprise overall for the team, that they keep winning games. They just won today. I guess against Vancouver is not as hard, but like Penguins are no joke this season. Yeah,
and I will mention Stuart Skinner is, I think, becoming a starter. When he showed up, he was trading starts with Artur Silovs. He started 2 in a row earlier this week on the 19th and 21st. One of the first times that he's seen 2 in a row, and then. But
wasn't that because of a back-to-back? Wasn't that like just?
Well, Silovs took the 22nd, which was the second half of the back-to-back, and I think the quote from head coach Dan Muse was. Skinner has earned the first game of the back-to-back. Like he's played well enough, because the question was like, why is he playing 2 in a row if you're heading into a back-to-back? And now he's playing again. So I'm really curious to see what happens for the next Pittsburgh start. But my hunch is that Stuart Skinner's a starter. I did add him because he was going to play twice in 4 nights in one of my leagues. And I wasn't intending to keep him. But if he's a starter for Pittsburgh, again, we did not think that would be a lucrative place for a fantasy goalie to be. We certainly didn't think much of Tristan Jarry in that position, but the way Skinner's been playing and the way Pittsburgh's been playing, if you're hurting for goalies or looking for goalies, I think we might have one here.
It's pretty exciting, especially because Brian, we had him in our dynasty, and I thought that like the wheels had totally come off of the Skinner bus, but now he's like better than he was.
I was just about to mention what a boon this has been for our dynasty team.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, Erik Karlsson was injured, came back, got nothing in a 6-goal game. Then he did nothing also today. So anyone who took him out of IR and dropped someone is like, oh, I should have just left him in IR at this point. But I guess, top power play. I guess eventually Karlsson will start getting some points again. Let's go to the Philadelphia Flyers, the home of a new acquisition on my fantasy team in the Cupful. I just added Matvei Michkov, so I definitely want to start with him. Though I guess the main hot streak on Philly is Travis Konechny. He's just doing great. He's really settled into a consistent 75-point guy like year in, year out. Kind of like how we used to talk about Sebastian Aho. Is that fair, Brian, to say that Konechny is in that Aho territory? Even though Aho's kind of surpassed that somewhat recently. But like Konechny, like, I don't know, he's never going to be like a 9,500 point guy, but he's also doesn't seem like he's ever going below 75-ish.
Yeah, it's nice that Konechny has like offered us once again some measure of consistency. It was getting dicey, especially remember under Tortorella. Like it didn't seem to be like working, even though he has been consistently like this is his third straight season where Konechny's been a 75-point player, but it didn't feel that way all the way through. It does now, which is nice. The one thing about him that I'm not loving though, he's still the shots haven't come back since his peak 3 and 4 seasons ago when he had over 3 shots per game. Even with the coaching change, he's down to barely more than 2 shots per game, which cuts into some of the value we were really excited to see as he was breaking out into a reliable scorer. But hey, I'm just happy that he is producing on a consistent basis. Also, his power play points probably could, like, he could be doing not a whole lot better, but a touch better. So yeah, nice shout out for Travis Konechny.
Yeah, and also we can do a shout out for Owen Tippett, had a hat trick recently. We've talked about him a bit on the show. He's just like good now. Like we like Owen Tippett here. Matvei Michkov is the interesting one. Lewis brought him up on his solo shift on Tuesday as a potential snoozer, and for good reason. Like Michkov was super cold, had a stretch of only 1 goal over 8 games. Then all of a sudden on Saturday, or I guess Friday actually, against Colorado, a weird game where Philly stomped the Colorado Avalanche 7-3. Matvei Michkov, a big part of it. 2 goals, 1 assist, also took 5 shots. Michkov also took 7 shots the game before that. It's like only 2 games of like high shots, and I guess like I said before, we've seen Charlie Coyle randomly have 7-shot games. So I don't know if this is the 7-shot game curse, but Michkov is someone who we all like expected to be really good this year, and it's been really disappointed in what we've seen. It's overall 27 points in 49 games. It's a 45-point pace, just absolutely terrible, like not rosterable. If you have Michkov, it's because you're hoping that he can bounce back to at least what he did last year, if not better. But this was a nice start, and next week it's a decent schedule. Like I mentioned on Matchup Maximizer yesterday. Another shout out, by the way, to myself. Check out that episode. I think it was pretty good. A nice, quick in and out, 20 minutes. I look at the best schedules for next week. Philly goes Monday, Wednesday on a week where a lot of teams just go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I added him, hoping that he can just keep this going at least for the. If he's bad, then I'll have the Monday, Wednesday, and then I'll move on. And if he's good, I'm hoping he's a guy to hold. Obviously, I would like it better if Michkov could get better deployment and more minutes in that game against Colorado where he had all those goals or 3 points. Like it was still playing with Brink and Noah Cates and not even getting the top power play deployment. He was on a unit with Cates and Barkey and Tippett, not the one with Konechny and Zegras, which I assume is what we call the top power play. It looks like the time was pretty even. So maybe, but also this was like a blowout game, so I don't know how much you read into it. So it'll be fun to see how the deployment goes. I wonder if maybe the coach could, like Rick Taka, could be like, oh, well, maybe Michkov is good now. I'm going to give him more ice time. Like, we'll see. Now, obviously, I'm just getting hyped up because I just added him to my fantasy team, though.
Yeah, and I guess if I was to say, wait, before you get hyped up about Matvei Michkov, I mean, you sort of just covered it. It's more than deployment. Like, he had 2 consecutive games where he played only 12 minutes. I'm just, like, flipping through his game log, and I think that was, like, his lowest 2-game ice time total of the season. Then he saw 14 and a half on Saturday when he got the hat trick, and that might have been part of it. And the upshot is also, even though in 2 games where he saw 12 minutes and then 14 and a half minutes, he still put 12 shots on goal, which is a nice thing to see from Michkov. I'd love to see a lot of shots, and that will negate any concerns about whether he's going to play more than 12 to 14 minutes. But hopefully this is the start of something good. Elon, he's not available in my division, especially with Monday, Wednesday games. Like, yeah, I'd be all over seeing if I can grab Matvei Michkov and be on board for if this turns into anything. I'm not certain yet that it will, but it's nice to see a spark.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be like one of our top prospects in the league, and I guess it's been a bit of a bumpy road. Let's see how this next week goes after a couple good games. So over in Columbus now, they've got a new coach. Things are going pretty well. Zach Werenski is completely on fire, so he's the main hot streak here, as per usual. He is now pacing for 96 points on the season after his 2 assists versus Tampa yesterday, where Columbus stomped Tampa 8-5. Is that a stomp? I don't know. Both teams stomped each other.
Yeah.
They both stomped the
Some
goalies.
mutual stomping.
But yeah, Columbus came out ahead there, and a big game for Werenski, an even bigger game for Mason Marchment, who is back from his injury. I guess a quiet return where he had no points against Dallas on Thursday, but made up for it with 3 goals and an assist versus Tampa in that huge win. It was 3 goals on 3 shots, so I'm sure someone could say, like, let's see him. If he only takes 3 shots a game, he's not going to score that many goals. But, like, look. At the end of the day, Mason Marchment is playing on the line with Marchenko and Fantilli, the clear top line, the 2 best other players on the team. And even if he's not on the top power play, I feel like at this point it might not be long before Mason Marchment does end up getting a top power play spot. I still, like I said on Matchup Maximizer yesterday, I find it hard to believe that Charlie Coyle is holding that long term. So Mason Marchment was actually dropped to my couple division. I wonder if the manager who dropped him is regretting it right now. He came off waivers yesterday so that everyone got to watch the hat trick game and then wonder what their fab bids would be. Unfortunately for me, I'm out of fab. I used it all, Brian, on Will Cooley earlier in the year, who now maybe I should have saved some for Mason Marchment, especially because Columbus actually has the best schedule next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So he ended up only going for $2. I was like expecting a bloodbath of fab this morning, but I saw just $2. The only other bid was 0. So I almost got him. But King got Mason Marchment. And if you have Mason Marchment available to you, listener, get him. Yeah. I think, why not?
Get on that. Yeah, Mason Marchment being also, that would be, at this point, Elon, I feel like it could be even odds between Marchment and Michkov the rest of the way. Marchment's been great since arriving in Columbus, and he's had good deployment right off the get-go. I love that the deployment has continued, and of course, the hat trick really only cements anyone's interest in Marchment. What's really curious to me is how even while Columbus scores 8 goals, Sean Monahan had just the empty netter. He wasn't in on anything else. I'm surprised he was even on the ice. And to me, that's impressive enough given how weak his season has been. Kent Johnson, who was spec added a bunch when he's like, yeah, like the new coach. It's nice to have a fresh start. Has done nothing with that fresh start. Boone Jenner, too. In an 8-goal game, you would expect most players in the top. I mean, Columbus runs a top 9, I guess, because of that Monahan, Jenner, Johnson line, although I think that's the top 6. And then Coyle, Olivier, and Sillinger are the third line.
Definitely. That's the third line, yeah.
Yeah, but they produced so much more than Monahan, Jenner, and Johnson did. So I think that's concerning for anyone who's hoping for more out of those 3.
Okay, then next up, I want to go to the New Jersey Devils, where I don't know how this happened, but I'm looking at the list of Frozen Tools, hottest players, and next up we have Cody Glass. Where'd he come from? Cody, what is this, Jeffrey Veal? But Glass was on an incredible run. He had a stretch of, and it was 5-6 games of getting a couple multi-point games there, including 2 goals and 1 assist against Vancouver on Friday. Today, back down to earth for Cody Glass, no points. He's a bottom 6er. Let me see. The lines today against Seattle, where the Kraken beat the Devils. Glass was playing with Arseny Gritsyk and Lenny Haminaho. I'm sure I did that really well.
Who I think also had a goal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Glass didn't get a point today. I guess maybe so he was on the ice for it, maybe, perhaps. Anyways, the top line, Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, and Timo Meier. That's one where you'd expect a lot of production to be coming. Timo Meier is ice cold. Jesper Bratt, Brian, really has disappeared. This was a guy who we thought was a pretty solid late second pick in Cupful, if you can get him. just doing absolutely nothing. I guess the other big news out of New Jersey, if we want to go in a different direction, is Luke Hughes being hurt and now Dougie Hamilton taking advantage and starting to get some points. He had a big 1-goal, 1-assist game to extend a point streak. So Hamilton, if you've held on to him, now may be the time where you're going to take advantage with Luke Hughes out of the picture and Hamilton getting a lot of power play time. So he's good. Sad for Luke Hughes, and also sad for people who have Jesper Bratt. I'd be curious to get your take on if you think there's reason to expect a big bounce back, or maybe it's just going to be kind of a down year for Bratt. I guess maybe they need a break. They still need Jack Hughes to like fully heal. There's a quote from the coach recently saying he's still not 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's, and we've chatted about that, and I feel like that's the number one concern. Although we have seen Bratt be fine without Jack Hughes before, but his 5-on-5 scoring is way down this year. I think maybe the just honestly the biggest culprit at a glance is that his shooting percentage at 5-on-5 has been halved. He's shooting 5.5% versus his usual 10 or even 12, 13%. So that's one thing that's been hurting Bratt, because on ice, his line has actually been quite dangerous, and some of this also, like, Jack Hughes is getting into dangerous positions to shoot, but his shot isn't as dangerous as always, so it's a little harder to measure exactly what on-ice expected goals mean in New Jersey right now. But while Bratt is on the ice, the Devils are only shooting 6%, which is not a recipe for success. So to me, I would find, like, if his manager is frustrated with him or close to giving up, again, my buy low record is not very good the last couple years, but I would say he's someone that I think could be doing a lot better, especially over the Olympic break. Although Jack Hughes is playing for USA, right? We already went down this path.
I don't want to stop asking me who's playing for USA. I don't care. I'm not.
Well, it's fantasy relevant.
Spoiler alert. I'm not a big fan of that country at the moment. I don't know if I need to be focusing so much on their Olympic team.
I feel like that should be an edit point, actually. Do you want to go there? I don't know.
I'm not a huge fan. I don't know. Okay.
Sure. No, go for it. But
okay, I'll do.
I could see Americans listening and being like, what?
Okay, spoiler alert. USA is in my news feed enough right now, Brian. I don't need to also be paying attention to what's going on with their Olympic team.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the Olympic team might not be at the above the fold. But Jack Hughes. Okay, but I'm asking because it is fantasy relevant if Jack Hughes is healthy or has time to heal.
But I think he's like healing. I think it's the one thing. It's like a hand. Like I think he's playing. It's not making it worse. Like it's not affecting the healing. I think it's like he's playing and he's healing while he's playing.
Is that that sounds optimistic? Like that sounds wishful.
Like it's not like a knee injury and then he's like wearing his knee. I think it's just like his hand. He's just not. I don't know. I feel like he's probably healing. So here's the thing. If Jack Hughes is fine, then Jesper Bratt should definitely be fine. Even if Jack Hughes isn't fine, I think Jesper Bratt should be doing that better than the 60-point pace he's currently on. So, we get asked for buy low candidates. I will name Jesper Bratt as a solid buy low candidate. The tricky thing is just to figure out who to trade from. Like, I guess maybe you try if you have Cutter Gauthier, who's, like I said, hot lately. Like, do you swap Gauthier for Jesper Bratt? Seems like, I don't know. It's scary either way. Like, but that's the thing with a buy low is you have to give someone good.
It's always risk involved.
Yeah, it would be easier if you had someone that was really good and we're just so certain that he's not going to keep it up. Like, yeah, if you can trade Jeffrey Veal or Cody Glass for Jesper Bratt, I'll definitely do that. So is that good advice? Okay, let's go now to the Buffalo Sabres, who just continue to be awesome. Here's a guy who's like never slowed down. Matthias Samuelsson, just all of a sudden this season was like, oh, I guess he's doing well. Like, that's weird. He's never done this before. Then he's just continued. And now we're at a point now where he's on another run of like 4 points in his last 3 games. Samuelsson now pacing for 47 points on the season. It's really hard to bet against this guy at this point. Like, he's getting a ton of ice time. He's producing. He's continuing to get a ton of ice time. He's also good for blocks and hits. He's incredible. So I don't know. Like, I don't even know if it's worth diving. If you want to tell me that he's going to slow down big time, but like, really? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, so here's the thing with Buffalo, and I was going to mention it, like we're going to talk about Jason Zucker and whoever. Zucker's been doing great, and so don't misinterpret my tone there. He's been fantastic. Buffalo as a whole they are on one right now in their last 23 games. So like the second quarter of the season, going back to December 8th, the Sabres have been held to less than 3 goals only 2 times. So it's 3 or more goals in 21 of their last 23. And over the last 11 games, the Sabres are averaging nearly 4.5 goals per game, like 4s and 5s all over the place. And this is like mostly at 5-on-5. Their power play hasn't even been clicking. They have some shorthanded goals actually in this span. But here's the thing. Buffalo's shooting 19% as a team in their last 11, 15% going back to that December 8th mark. So this can't last forever, right? So I'll be curious to see if the dust settles. Like I assume it will. Like this is a team-wide heater. And then when the dust settles, who's going to be able to maintain some their production and who won't? So I wonder about Samuelsson. I wonder about Zucker. I wonder about McLeod. I wonder about Quinn. I wonder about Krebs. They're all doing well right now. But I don't know that when the team's shooting percentage regresses, they're still going to be as making their fantasy managers as happy as they have for the last little while. So I think that just applies as a blanket to all Buffalo guys, except Alex Tuck managers probably wishing he was getting in on more. Like, meanwhile, Alex Tuck is just like chugging along at like his normal, 65-point pace, like nothing remarkable, while everyone else is doing like as good or better, 70-point pace. But he's just like, you wouldn't know Buffalo's on a heater looking at his just like, yeah, that's an Alex Tuck game log right there.
Yeah, Tuck, he's been solid. He's been like kind of how I felt maybe about Gensel last year. It's like, couldn't you be doing a little more with these guys on your team doing well? Though I was really excited about Josh Doan, if you recall, and he's really quieted down for what it's worth. 1 point in his last 5 games. I don't know if it's time to call him a snoozer. I'm seeing in the line combos for that big win over the Islanders where Alex Lyon got a shutout. Josh Doan was playing with Tage and Tuck, which seems like a great spot. And Doan was still on the top power play with Tage and Zucker and Noah Ostlund is there. So they're trying lots of fun things and Dahlin. So I guess like Doan's still in a good spot in the roster. So it seems like it would be an unfortunate time to drop him because I think he can easily just start going off again. I think my advice, I don't know. I guess I should throw it to you. You're the advice person. But I feel like if anything now it's like if Doan gets dropped because he's cold, I think now's a great time to add him because if he keeps this deployment, I don't see why he can't just get going again. So that's what I think.
Yeah, sorry, is that for Doan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying he's cold, but he's got great deployment, so
yeah.
I feel like he'll probably just get going again at some point.
Yeah, it seems likely, and I was starting to buy in, and the Sabres bought in. They just gave him that handsome contract. They traded Peterka for Doan, and then gave Doan Peterka's contract, essentially. So now Doan, unfortunately, since signing that contract, hasn't been doing a whole lot. I hate that he has just a single shot in his last 4 games. However, I'm with you. I'm gonna remain hopeful. Like clearly, the Sabres see Josh Doan as an important piece of their team, and I expect that they will expect him and give him the opportunity to play like one too. I don't know if you need to hold him while you wait, but I think it's worth noting that he is cold, and it kind of is like a manager's choice right now whether or not you're gonna ride this one out.
Yeah, I just like him. If he's on the top line, top power play, it's hard for me to let go. I don't have him, so it's easier for me to say. But if he was dropped, I'll say it would be hard for me not to want to grab him. Then I will mention Alex Lyon. So like I said, he came back. He's got 26 safe shutout yesterday in his second game back from his injury. Buffalo's so awesome right now, and they have such a frustrating goalie situation because they are running the 3 goalies with Ellis also in the picture along with UPL and Lyon. So it's like I don't know. I like these are like a team that wins almost every game, and probably all 3 of their goalies are in free agency in a lot of leagues. But a great spot start, and then if you can handle just getting every second game, seems like every game that you get from Lyon or UPL has a great chance of really being worth a lot for you. Let's go to St. Louis now, Brian. So Jordan Kyrou's hot. And I recall Lewis having dropped him in a couple. I remember thinking at the time, like, I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, he's cold and whatever. It was like schedule reasons. But, like, he's Jordan Kyrou. Is he really someone to drop? And I wonder how Lewis is feeling right now. Because, yeah, he scored 2 goals versus L.A. yesterday. It's now a streak of 4 points in his last 3 games. But even if you go further back, it's like 7 points in his last 7 games for Jordan Kyrou. So I know it hasn't been the season we were expecting. But if he was dropped in your league and he's still out there, like, I think he's Jordan Kyrou, right? He's still a star player in the league. I'd be into him.
Yeah, it's time to jump on Jordan Kyrou if he is available to you. I wonder, like, I'm not fully sure why he's doing well all of a sudden. Like he really seems to come and go. I mean, one thing that's working for him is he is on the top power play unit, which hasn't always been the case. And I wonder if Kyrou is better off when Robert Thomas is out of the lineup. He gets to be the guy, like the regular shots that he seems to be taking over his last 10 games. It's one of his better 10-game shooting stretches of the season. Not by like a long shot. I think I might be just like I might be skewing that a little just based on what I want to see, because I'm just looking for any explanation. But absolutely, Jordan Kyrou. Like if Matvey Michkov, like I would probably pick Kyrou ahead of Michkov if they were both available, if schedules were equal.
You take Michkov over Kyrou?
No, I'd take Kyrou over Michkov.
Oh yeah. I mean, I hear you. I'm the same. Like, I don't know. I'm a sucker for like if a guy like came into the season, we were expecting like a 60, 70 point pace. Like it would be hard for me to give up on him unless he was like really terrible. And yeah, I guess like there was a stretch where Kyber was really terrible, but he's got a lot of rope with me just because of a lot of seasons of being really great for fantasy. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Of course, St. Louis is a bit of a struggle sometimes. Dalibor Dvorsky, by the way, also looking good recently. We were expecting that Snuggerud would be the big like rookie breakout this year. Maybe Dvorsky's overtaken Snuggerud a little bit. Okay, so over on Florida, the next hot streak I had on this list here is Sam Bennett, who's been absolutely insane, and he was like so bad at the start of the year. So I wondered that would be a good question. Like, why did you suck so much at the start of the season? But maybe he was still like recovering from the celebrations of winning the cup and all the money that he made. But Bennett lately has been awesome. We'll see. Like actually, Florida's playing right now against Chicago. They're in the third. It's 1-1. The only goal from Florida is a total schmoll Tobias Bjornfoot, assisted by Cole Schwind. So no one's getting points of note yet. I will mention that Bennett has been playing with, at least today, with Matthew Tkachuk, who is back. We mentioned last week that he was coming back, but to report he had no points, Tkachuk, versus San Jose in his return, then 1 assist versus Winnipeg, then 2 assists against Minnesota. So we'll see if he can bring that up to 3 assists in the third period today against Chicago. So Matthew Tkachuk clearly still getting going. Like he's not shooting like a crazy amount yet. Only 1 hit each game, but he's Matthew Tkachuk. I'd imagine it'll just take a little bit of time before he's like going off. On the flip side, Anton Lundell, Brian, is someone who I remember when Barkov got injured, it was like, okay, it's Anton Lundell time. Like he's gonna have to take over, and it started pretty well overall. But at this point, like Lundell's kind of, I don't know, is he a snoozer? Like, is he just someone like I feel like he's hard to drop because he's got a good spot in the lineup. He's playing a lot of minutes, but we're in a cold streak now, like pointless in 4. Just overall on the season, 35 points in 51 games. It's a 56-point pace. Like I'd say borderline roster. I don't know. What's your current take now on Anton Lundell, even with Barkov out of the lineup? He's not exactly what I was expecting.
No, he hasn't like run with the opportunity for sure. He did take 5 shots on Saturday against Minnesota, and then he had no shots the night prior. But the night prior, he had 6 shots against San Jose. So it kind of is like he's been someone who you don't know exactly what you're going to get from. But that's even more true over the last 11 games. Lundell has only pointed in 3 of them, 2 goals and 2 assists total. So that hasn't been nice. Up until then, though, he was pretty reliable. So I don't know that I'm ready to like fully give up on him, and like I'm okay to give Lundell a little more time, like maybe to the Olympic break, and say, yeah, it's just a cold streak, and he'll snap out of it, because his deployment is still. Like he's playing with Marchand, who's been back from injury, and I also wonder if that's had something to do with it. Like Marchand was out about not quite the whole length of Lundell's cold streak, but maybe that's been a bit of a factor too. So with Marchand and Tkachuk recently both returned to the lineup, I'd be happy to give Lundell like another few games, like I said, till the Olympic break, and then make a decision. I know that's hard with some busy nights coming up. But I'd want to hang on. I don't think I'd be ready to cut him fully right now. Elon, do you know if he's on the Swedish Olympic team?
Oh my God, are you
that
serious?
Was a joke.
Isn't he from Finland also?
Yes. He's not on the Swedish Olympic. Trick question.
I'm glad I passed, even though we're 2 hours into this podcast. Next hot streak over in Seattle. I feel like last week we were like finally like maybe Matty Beniers. So 2 weeks ago it was like Matty Beniers. Maybe there's something here. Then a bunch of people came back from injury. They were like, okay, I think Seattle's back to like not really having anyone being able to be a star. But then Matty Beniers had a good week this week, including a goal today against New Jersey in the win. So we're now points in 3 straight games for Matty Beniers, which means his streak overall is like over his last 10 games is looking like pretty great. So I still have him, Brian. I don't know if you still have him. I think you had him in a different league than Cupful, but I was assuming I was going to drop Beniers for next week because Seattle only plays Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but he keeps getting points, and so it's kind of hard to drop someone like that.
It is. I dropped Beniers for Mason Marchment as a stream to get a head start on this next week. So that was worthwhile to me, but I definitely did rethink it every time he scored and pointed, and he hasn't gone Like Beniers hasn't been super consistent, but he also hasn't gone. I'm just pulling up the game log again. Yeah, he hasn't gone. He's only gone consecutive games without a point once in his last 18 games. So to me, that's a sign. Like that's a consistent scorer right there. And he's generally scoring 3 games, 4, like stringing more than a couple games in a row of points. So yeah, even though again he's not all the way there, we did hope the last time we talked about Beniers that like this might be the start of him emerging, coming out of his shell, having an opportunity. And I still think that's possible. I still think the ceiling is rather low in Seattle, but any kind of consistent production in Seattle is welcome. And from Beniers too, be great to see him start working on his upside.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just hard. Shams is saying the Chetty, the 7 goals this month, like tough to drop. Yeah, like at this point, I guess I have Barbashev in my roster. I'm just looking at like a couple of roster, figuring out who I'm going to drop when I need to start making some moves here and take people out of IR. Beniers, yeah, it's going to be too tough to drop now. Maybe in a week from now, I'll drop him, and I'll wish had done it a week earlier. But I feel like you got to wait this one out if you have him. So yeah, one more hot streak, Brian, before we'll take our last break here. On LA, the team that plays 5 times next week, if you can fit in some games from them, it's like the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are all really busy, but if you can fit them Monday, Sunday, and maybe one of those other days, it could be worth it to jump on a Kings player. And right now, we're back to a couple months ago with Corey Perry. Remember when Corey Perry came back from his injury and he just couldn't be stopped and was getting points every single game? All of a sudden, he's added again 4 points in the last 4 games for Corey Perry. I guess there was a break in between there where he missed a couple of games, I think, for personal reasons, but he's been back. He's doing well. Also, Perry's been playing on the top power play. He's been playing on the top line with Kempe and Laferriere. This is with Kopitar out, so maybe when Kopitar comes back, things will change again. But for now, going into a 5-game week, hard to not be somewhat interested in Corey Perry. And I guess also, the same has to be said for Alex Laferriere, who isn't on the top power play, but has been playing on this line with Kempe and Perry. And Laferriere did have a goal and an assist yesterday against St. Louis. He was cold before that. But so 2 interesting names if you want to get in on that 5-game week. And I guess on the flip side, you look at like a Drew Doughty, who's probably now in free agency in the majority of leagues because he's been so cold. If you had like an open D spot and you could get 5 games from Doughty, are you taking it? Or are you even still just like, he probably won't even get a point?
Yeah,
like,
more the latter. And like we've had a lot of talk on the show, like Downey did his 5-game week episode rundown analysis, and we've talked about it on our Discord, our patrons only Discord server too, and looking at how Edmonton did in their 5-game week, wasn't that appealing. Like I don't think a 5-game week is the most appealing thing. So like maybe at some point I'll run Doughty into my lineup for like a game or two just to see what'll happen if he's really the best option. But he's not getting like any bonus points for 5 games unless like I'm in a really limited, like he hasn't, I think you said he hasn't pointed in freaking 12 games. He's barely shot in that time too. So I don't know. He's not on the top power play. I'm not sure what the sell is, what the appeal is, why I would.
I predicted yesterday on Matcher Maximizer 2 points in the 5 games for Doughty. So we'll see.
Well, that would beat his current pace of 25 points.
Yeah, exactly. So I put myself out on the limb there. All right, Brian. So by the way, my anti-jinx. Oh, please.
I'll mention my under the radar LA streamer, Trevor Moore, who
he's good at shootouts.
He's good at shootouts, as we learned over at Game Day tweets. But he played with Armia and Quinton Byfield in his return to the lineup. Took 5 shots, scored a goal, threw 2 hits. It's funny that 5 shots, like his first game back from injury, that ties a season high when he took 5 shots back in the 6th game of the season. So I don't know. For me, that makes me a little more interested in Trevor Moore and be like, oh, is he gonna shoot more now that he's healthy? So I'm curious. I'm happy to get 5 games of quick data on Trevor Moore. That's the best part of a 5-game week. We gather data quickly on players.
Yeah, I have a prediction that Trevor Moore will be much like he has been the majority of the season and last season. That's my prediction of what you'll learn from these 5 days.
Yep, fair prediction. I think I agree.
By the way, I was about to mention before, I anti-jinxed Beckett Seneke, and it worked. He's scored a goal now against Calgary. So, woohoo! Way to go, Beckett. Okay, let's take our last break, Brian. We'll come back. I'm done with hot streaks, but I still have a few more pieces of news I want to throw at you before we get out of here. So you're listening to Keeping Karlsson. So, Brian, the rest of the news, none of these guys were able to do enough to get into the hot streak section, unfortunately. But we've got on the Islanders, Bo Horvat is back. The team got absolutely destroyed in their last game against Buffalo. So I don't know how much you want to read into the lines. They've been rolling 2 power plays, splitting Horvat and Barzal, which obviously isn't ideal for either of them, especially for Barzal, who got less time in his unit for that game against Buffalo. But again, it was a game where the team got blown out and got shut out. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see new alignments from Patrick Roy in the next game for the Islanders. I don't know how much to read into it. Obviously, you're excited to get Bo Horvat back if you had him. He's been having a great season, and I expect, aside from a bump in the road like this last game here and there, I think Bo Horvat's going to be just fine.
I agree. I did mention going into his injury that Bo Horvat had been overachieving on his shooting, and I'm not sure he's going to continue to score quite at the clip he was. He was on a 75-point pace heading into the injury, pacing for over 40 goals, which would be a career high. And I wasn't sure that would continue. I was happy to see him take 4 shots in his return, and I hope Horvat will be able to convert some of those to goals. Of course, the Isles power play situation, not ideal. Patrick Roy, what did he say? I did it in Colorado, so I'm doing it here. Split, like having 2 evenly deployed units. That's annoying because that wasn't the situation when Horvat was last in the lineup. When Horvat was last in the lineup, the Isles had committed to a full unit. So that's just another reason to, if Horvat's back and healthy, has a good few games, and you have him, I don't know. Like, I wonder if he would be someone good to offer for Jesper Bratt. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I could see it, especially if you're okay with, or you're like 2 full-on centers, and it's your benefit.
Got some. Really, you get a dual eligible winger coming back too.
Okay, I didn't think about that. That's interesting. I think that Patrick Roy's going to go back to just loading up the top power play soon.
Who knows? The thing with him, it's so annoying. I don't know what he's going to do ever. The other night he benched a lot. He benched Barzal's line, and then after the game,
forecheck or something.
Yeah, but Anders Lee did, and he's like, they're aligned together, so I keep them together. It's like, man, let Anders Lee have another shift. Come on. This guy. Imagine if all 32 coaches were this way, how much harder this silly little game we play would be.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have an outjury in Chicago. So Frank Nazar, I think we might have mentioned last week that Nazar was coming back. So he is back. He's not doing anything. He's pointless now in 3 games. I guess there's still some time left in this game against Florida today. This is his 3rd game back. The lines for Chicago today were totally changed from what they had been doing before. So Oliver Moore went up to the top line with Bedard and Burakovsky, and then Nazar with Lardis and Green. Remember before Green was on the top line? Bertuzzi then. I don't know. This is like silly. Bertuzzi with Dickinson and Mikheyev. So we'll see. Like, Chicago's losing to Florida right now. I'd imagine things will change up again. But Nazar might be a snoozer at this point. He doesn't seem to be reclaiming the magic that he had earlier in the year. He was already slowing down. Artem Levshunov has been on that top power play for a long time and not doing anything. So he's probably a snoozer. Like, in Chicago right now is just no fun. Like, it's not. Before Bedard got injured, it was great. And like people who were playing with Bedard were getting tons of points, and Bedard was getting tons of points, and now we're kind of back to last year. Feels like. So hopefully Bedard takes that Olympic break and gets his mojo back from before he got hurt. Because it's not the only really good player on Chicago lately has been Spencer Knight, who's just led in his 3rd goal of the game today. So I was pre-jinxed him by having it in my notes. So I don't really have anything fun to say about Chicago right now.
Okay, so let's keep moving.
Okay. I mentioned before how Anthony Stolarz came back for the Leafs and did not have a good game. Then Joseph Woll played today against Colorado. He did okay. Like, Colorado did win 4-1, but Woll only led in like 3 goals on 36 shots. So not his fault that Austin Matthews can't score a goal. Let's go, Austin. It's okay. But I do wonder what's going to happen soon with, like, are they going to just go right to 50-50, or are they going to like give Woll the net for a while because Stolarz clearly doesn't seem ready, or maybe it's because the Leafs have also lost like a ton of games in a row. Like, they're in a really bad losing streak. They're going to fall out of the playoffs if they don't get going. So I don't think they can afford to just like, let's give Stolarz a game to get him going. Like, I feel like Woll's doing well. Maybe they just stick with him. So I think for the time being, my prediction is Woll's going to be getting a starter's workload. But, time will tell there. Hard to predict what a coach will do with goalies.
Yeah, my sense in the NHL these days, and it goes back to Colorado too, it's like if you have 2 goalies who you think, and Carolina, who you think are capable of taking on like a load of games and being your starter in the playoffs, you want both of them in like good game shape. So I don't know. I mean, you're right. The Leafs are kind of like they don't have the luxury that the Avs do of like, I wonder if the Avs will start Blackwood until they see him starting to play well. The Leafs don't have that luxury. Every game counts. So yeah, I guess I would lean to seeing more of Wool heading forward, but I also feel like ideally they get Stolarz going because the form he was in the playoffs last year was fantastic.
Of course.
And that's better than anything we've seen from Wool at any point. Of course, it could have just been a short moment, and maybe Wool's capable of it too. But that's it's another foggy, fuzzy goaltending situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. I think for now I'm okay with Wool. I'll say, but let's see. Like what you said makes sense that they want to get Stolarz back to it, but also it's just like he's got to get back to it really soon. Otherwise, they're going to fall farther out of that playoff spot. Over in Vancouver, here's another Chicago situation where everyone kind of stinks right now. So Philip Heedle's back, so that's fun, but he's pointless in 2 games. He's not of interest to me in fantasy. Like in today's game against Pittsburgh, where they lost, Heedle was centering a line with Besser and Drew O'Connor. Then Pettersson was playing with DeBrusque and Evander Kane. Connor Garland, remember him? Remember when we used to talk about Connor Garland was good? Yeah. He stinks. He's pointless in 10 games now. So if anyone has him on their roster, like, what are you doing? That's an obvious snoozer to me.
Yeah, I agree. He's not like I also was rostering him for some time, and when he came back from his injury, he didn't do anything immediately, and to me that was like enough. Like I would say honestly the same. Sorry, I muted myself. I would say honestly about the same about any Vancouver Canuck, right? Like I'm only going to be so patient with anyone who's not, I guess, like Elias Pettersson is someone who I'll have the most patience for, but when Marco Rossi's not producing, we drop Marco Rossi. When Evander Kane's not producing, when Brock Besser, when Jake DeBrusque. So I think Connor Garland is not exceptional amongst that group.
Yeah, exactly. So Kiefer Sherwood, who got traded from Vancouver, he was traded to the San Jose Sharks, who Sherwood's not playing yet. So we'll see how that shakes out. Like the Sharks are actually kind of interesting right now because they've been rolling interesting lines, like changing things up from maybe what we expected. Igor Chernyshov was sent down to the minors. Is it Igor Chernyshov? Something Chernyshov.
Yeah.
Sounds right to me.
As far as good. I remember.
So in the last game that the Sharks played against the Rangers, where they got the win, they were rolling with Celebrini, Will Smith, and Colin Graff. So we're back to Colin Graff being in the top 6 and on the top line mainly, and he had 2 assists in that game versus the Rangers. So, I mean, I just love that spot if you're playing with Celebrini and Smith. Like, Will Smith, by the way, was injured, right? And so since Will Smith's return, he's just he took advantage of that vacation. I guess he never slowed down before he got hurt, and he hasn't slowed down since he's been hurt because he had 2 assists in that game against the Rangers, had a couple games with goals before that. So Will Smith is just continuing his amazing sophomore season. This guy is definitely for real, and it's nice to see him clicking with Celebrini right away. So I do think that for now, Colin Graff is interesting. We'll see when Kiefer Sherwood makes his debut for the Sharks, like where he slots in. Maybe he can be a top liner, but probably not, right? I think on a good team, you have Kiefer Sherwood on the 3rd line. But yeah, right now, Colin Graff is your guy to look at in San Jose. That's my takeaway there.
Yep, I think that's the extent. And I think as always in San Jose, you just need to they change their lines a lot. So check them every game to make sure the guy you have is where you expect him to be.
Oh, another guy I wanted to bring up on San Jose is Askarov in net. He's a guy who had been held in like a couple division for most of the season, but he was recently dropped. I was like, oh, I need a goalie. And Askarov's been dropped. But then I looked, it's like, I get why. He's playing every second game. He's led in 3 or 6 goals pretty much every game for like a month, 2 months. So he sucks this year. And meanwhile, Nedeljkovic is actually doing pretty well lately. So if anything, Nedeljkovic might end up eating into more games if Askarov can't bounce back here. So if you still have Askarov, maybe you need to be like the manager Mike a couple division who dropped him. I think that was probably a smart move, probably maybe even a little bit too late.
Yeah, he's been really bad. 869 at 5-on-5. That's just over the last month, so his last 8 games, and he's given up 22 goals in that span. And that's just at 5-on-5. He's not doing as well as he was at the start. It's almost Elon. I mean, it's every goalie. Like Josh Stahl. It reminds me of Josh Stahl last year, right? Remember, he came out so strong, and then the workload, he's playing for a bad defensive team, and he's playing every night. It's going to start wearing on you. And yeah, Nedeljkovic has taken on the workload and has been playing really, really well. So I think it's a good point. Keep an eye on that situation. You're not getting the same quality or even necessarily volume of starts from Askarov as you once were.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, it was Ryan who dropped him. Poor Ryan, having a tough season. I think he's a really good player. He dropped he dropped Askarov to get David Riddick for a spot start yesterday, and then got hit with those 4 goals against, minus 1.2 in a couple. That's frustrating when you finally let go of your goalie to just stream the spot, then right away you get hit with a negative. It's like, but whatever. It was still probably a smart drop. But I still think one day Askarov will be really good, and San Jose will be really good. But it doesn't seem like this year is the year to hold him any longer. Let's finish off. Oh, Brian, by the way, another Beckett Seneke goal. So I really anti-jinxed him with
When
that
you say
segment.
another,
Forget everything I said.
Is that 2 tonight?
2 tonight, yeah.
Love it.
He's good.
He's so
Kyle Granlund assists on both of them. And Alex Killorn. Both goals have been Seneke from Killorn and Granlund. So that's your hot line right now. Those are your Sunday saviors. Okay, so let's finish off in Winnipeg. Brian, you were asking me about my thoughts on Gabe Vilardi, and I've looked into it, and it is interesting. He is cold right now, which is surprising because he's generally had a pretty good season. He's still on the top power play, but obviously not as appealing when he's not playing with Connor and Scheifele. Vilardi has been playing on a line with Perfetti and Jonathan Taves on the second line, and now all of a sudden Vilardi is mired in a 4-game pointless streak, still having a good year overall. He had 44 points in 47 games. Now it's 44 points in 51 games, still a 71-point pace. Are you nervous about Vilardi, or is this just if a random 4-game stretch, we'll forget it even happened in a couple months?
I'm hoping we'll forget it happened. I mean, the thing with Vilardi that I don't love, and I think we've mentioned this on the show, he's been bumped to the second line as the Jets try and have 2 lines. They want to have it all, don't they? With Iafallo taking his Vilardi's spot on the top line, and Vilardi moving with Taves and Perfetti, which, Taves had a nice run there, and unfortunately it ended. So I don't know how much Vilardi can do entirely on his own, and I am a little concerned that he's pointless in 4. He's only taken a single shot in his last 3 games. This is like pre-breakout Vilardi that we're seeing here when he didn't shoot much and he couldn't be relied on for points. So I don't know. I feel like it's important for Winnipeg that he gets going and continues going, and that's sort of what I'm hoping will drive some future production and maybe more opportunity if he's not producing in his current deployment. But I hope Vilardi is able to snap out of it soon.
And with that, Brian, we've made it to the end of the docket that I had prepared for today's show. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for talking hockey with me after a long day of hanging out in the house while Toronto just gets piled under mountains of snow. And I'm looking forward to seeing not only how people like this episode, but also how the snow looks tomorrow as I look out my window. But first, we get to enjoy another... I don't even know what am I even doing here? Let me just start.
I don't know what you're doing. You're lost. You got lost.
With that, Brian, we have come to the end of the prepared content for today's episode. What a blast it's been chatting with you about hockey for the past couple of hours after spending the weekend cooped up in the house while Toronto got piled in mountains of snow. Hopefully the listeners enjoyed this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know on the Patreon Discord. We'd love to hear your feedback on if you like it, if you think we should change something. Also, if you want to help support the show, you can give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We can still send you a Dauber mid-season guide, potentially, if you get this in time. It's a really great resource. That we'll just take a 5-star review and send you that guide until we run out of our offer codes. You can support the show also becoming a patron of Keeping Karlsson, keepingkarlsson.com/patron for more information of how you can become a supporter financially. Not very much, and we really would appreciate that. But with that, Brian, let's cue the outro music. Why don't you go ahead and read us the credits?
Okay, this episode of the Keeping Karlsson Fantasy Hockey Podcast was presented by Dobra Hockey and powered by our patrons, including our 25 super supporters, Kendrick, Rick, Jack, Paul, Top Cheese, Roman, Brian, Patrick, Aaron, Philip, Benny, Henrik, Caton, Sammy, Andrea, Zach, 2-time Cacuffle Ultimate Champion Ryan, Terry, Stephen, Peter, Thomas, Connie, David, Ricard, and Patty. We appreciate you all. Thank you to our Cacuffle coordinators, Kevin Hebert and John Bruno. Shout out to our fast track leaders. In the 5th spot, Team Furious. 4th, Jarvis, you're genius. 3rd, Rope, you're a star. 2nd, Slewfoot 97 HC. And 1st, likely for the rest of the season. We'll see if anyone can knock Barks off his spot, his Mac Attack. Okay, What's next? What do I do next after GameDayTweets.com. Elon and Shams maintain the best fantasy hockey news resource out there, I'd say after our podcast. But in conjunction with our podcast, GameDayTweets.com, our patrons, like on our Discord server, there are channels that like auto update with every tweet too. I don't actually go to the website. I just follow our Discord server channel. It's amazing.
I need the clicks, Brian.
Well,
what are you doing? You're hurting my traffic.
When I'm doing my own research, like I do click around the website, but as I watch the flow come in during the day, it's on the Discord server.
Okay, that's fair. And also, we don't even have ads on the site, so I'm not even making any money from your clicks. But it makes me feel good when I look at the stats. When I look at the stats, they look good.
I'll click a few times just for fun when I can think about it. Lately on Yahoo, I'm getting all these they have the worst banner ads. Like they're the spammiest banner ads. Lately I've gotten click to give pets hungry pets food or something. Clicks.
How could you not?
Your clicks save hungry people. I don't click. I'm just do you remember free rice way back at the start of the internet? Okay.
There's all this weird internet. I remember there was you could have a banner on the bottom of your computer and then just get paid to look at ads or some
yes,
stupid thing.
you would install it as as an add-on to your browser, and the amount of time spent browsing.
What a business.
Wild.
By the way, Brian,
yeah.
if I may, you've been reading the Fast Track every week as a new thing in your credits. I think maybe you should also throw in the couple tier 1 standings, just because that's the people chasing the ultimate championship. I will mention right now, Jordan from Sasquatch Snipers, currently in first place and looks like he's going to win this week. So Jordan, who's been in tier 1 forever, going to take it. He makes the playoffs every year, right? Is this going to be the year Jordan finally wins it? I'll just mention he's currently in the lead, but I think he's been in this spot before and hasn't won, so we'll see if this year's any different.
It was Nate, but Nate has lost 2 in a row. It looks like he's going to salvage this week narrowly against M. Stone, the 13th place team, who put up a great matchup. But yeah, it's Jordan, then Brett, the Blazing Turtles, and Frozen Paddles is in third. But Nate is there at 10-5 as well. So we'll see what the standings look like next week. That's a great idea. And we'll find out what happens next.
Okay.
Really tight at the top of the standings. Okay. This episode, logo art by BrandonWeeb.com. Outro music by Pat Roach. This episode was researched with help from Dobber Hockey, Frozen Tools, Dobber Prospects, Natural Stat Trick, Evolving Hockey, Puckpedia, The Athletic, HockeyGoldies.org, Hockey Reference, Hockey Viz, Hockey Database, Elite Prospects, and Yahoo.
Great job as always, Brian. Looking forward to doing all of this with you next. Wait 1 sec. Great job as always, Brian. Looking forward to doing this all again with you next week. We're going to have, of course, great short shifts episodes, another Matchup Maximizer in between now and the next mega show. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. See ya.
Keep doing what you can to make sure fantasy hockey is for everyone.
Cool.
Hey,
Thanks
Elon,
everyone for watching live. Appreciate it.
We need to talk Olympic break programming.
Okay, I need to go now, though. So can we talk about it later,
I can tell how
please?
badly you need to go.
All right, so I'm going to end the stream. See ya.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.